Kia ora and welcome everybody to the Rainbow Six Siege Oceanic Challenger League. We're into the gauntlet now, we're into playoffs right at the tail end of stage number 1. My name is Matt Smyros and I love this guy so much I brought him up to Auckland. It's Blue Panda, aka Billy Brereton. Mate, welcome to the Big Apple.
Look, it's been a long time coming. There's been a bit of a gap between play, so I know I'm just as ready to get into things as the players are. 7 grueling weeks around Robin have given us our top 5, the 5 that we'll be playing through the gauntlet, and well, some teams have a longer road than others.
That's right. That's the best part about the gauntlet format, is that we get to have those magical, miracle gauntlet runs that some teams are able to pull off, and we'll see if that does play out over the weekend. But if you're sitting there, you're a little bit overwhelmed, like, wow, we're already at the gauntlet, like, how did we even get here? Well, don't worry. For you new viewers, we've got a little video that's going to explain how all of this works.
Welcome to Rainbow Six Esports for Oceania in 2021. We're proud to share with you the timeline for our 2021 season and the format of our Oceanic Leagues throughout the year. Through a sustainable approach to the region, we now have 2 clearly defined tiers and a proper flow through from our newly created Oceanic Challenger League to our returning Oceanic Nationals. Both leagues will meet for 3 stages in the year-long season, with participating teams accumulating points based on results from each stage. So how exactly will each stage be played out? We have 8 teams per league, playing single round robin best of 1s with overtime. A regular win is rewarded with 3 points, while a loss gives 0. When the 2 teams fight up into overtime, the winner gets 2 points, while the loser gets 1. At the end of each stage, the top 5 teams will qualify into our new gauntlet format playoffs, while the remainder of the teams will have their placements and points locked in. Playoffs for both OCN and OCL will be best of 3s, with best of 5 grand finals. At the conclusion of each stage, teams will be allocated points based on their final standings. For OCN teams, the conclusion of stage 3 will show us which teams have earned enough points to enter a promotion relegation tournament and fight for a chance to enter the Asia Pacific Regional League, whereas OCL teams that accumulated enough points will have their promotion opportunity into the Nationals, OCN. For both OCN and OCL, the top teams from each league will compete in seasonal finals to be held on LAN, where we will crown a champion in each league. This will be a great opportunity to celebrate Rainbow Six Esports in Oceania and come together as a community. We will have more information on these events later this year. Ubisoft's commitment to the growth and sustainability of esports in the Oceanic region is higher than ever, with 2 exciting leagues of 8 teams, broadcasting over 9 months of the year, and direct pathways through to the coveted APAC League and ultimately the 6th Invitational. Opportunities are abundant for players in Oceania. You won't want to miss this exhilarating year of R6 Esports, so follow us at R6 Esports OCE to stay up to date with our season, support your favorite teams, and catch exciting content from the best players in Oceania.
Well, look, I said it at the start of the season, and it's still true right now. It is a great time to be a fan of Rainbow Six Siege Esports here in ANZ, man. It's been such a great time going through this new format. We've gone through the round robin stage with the overtime differences, but here's the next difference, Billy, is now we get to go into the gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, this is where things really start to ramp up. You've obviously made it top 5. You're going into playoffs. there's a little bit more on the line now. Not just placement, not just seeding. You're playing for the big bucks.
That's right. Speaking of big bucks, let's throw that up on the screen here. Take a look at those numbers. If you're quite a good little whiz at maths, you'll notice that it all adds up to $10,000, but almost half of that all the way at the top. Now, all teams have made it in the money here as it's all towards the top 5, but that means every match is worth that difference in money on the screen right there. And that is a lot of money to be playing around with, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, look, the difference is you're looking at 9 times what 5th place makes if you take out the whole thing. So you definitely want to pick that. And not to mention the points that you're going to be picking up looking for promotion going into the Oceanic Nationals at the end of the year, plus that LAN format that they're looking to set up as well, crowning a Oceanic Challenger League champions. The Nationals is the one up, but there's still a lot on the line here. And look, you're in the money, but you obviously want more.
Yeah, look, I mean, we know these players, they're not just here for the cash, it's for those positional points so they can promote themselves. But let's take a look at how some of these teams did go throughout the round robin stage of the season here. Now, we'll talk about the bottom 3 first, as they were not included here in the playoffs. They did not make the cutoff. Hakuasian, Swingsman, and Pride all down. They're only a point apart, but still a 2-point difference to Prolific over in that 5th place. And then you can see it goes up 1 point apiece. So teams quite close until you get to that 1st place team. Skyfire up there, 4 points ahead of everyone else. Only 1 loss throughout the season. Absolutely dominating and netting themselves a spot in the grand final already.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rather upsetting loss for them, obviously,
Yeah,
going into week 6. No one expected it. But, I mean, look, they started the season Balkan Ratnichi, a bunch of rank stars was the go-to term to refer to these guys. They get picked up by Skyfire, one of the most storied orgs in the region in terms of Rainbow Six, and they have come out, they have represent well. I talked to the owner of the org, and he's super stoked at how they're doing, but this is only the beginning.
As he should be. The team has done brilliantly, but they'll be put to the test this weekend, although Skyfire won't be playing until Sunday. As you can see there, the grand finals, they've already locked in their spot. But before then, but tonight we've got Big Dogz versus Prolific as the first match, that 5th versus 4th place match. Then tomorrow, double whammy. We've got Fury versus the winners of tonight's match. And then Exto Gaming will play the winner of that match. So we've got a whole lot of action packed for you guys tomorrow. But Panda, we've got to zero in on tonight. We've got 1 best of 3 to get through first, and that's Big Dogz versus Prolific. What a fun match to start the gauntlet off.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting matchup. You had Big Dogz coming in, big hopes, big dreams for the fans of the team. Didn't quite pan out the way they'd hoped. They had a couple of upsetting weeks. They didn't quite find the momentum they wanted. Then Prolific, who, I mean, they're a very well-rounded roster. They've got huge amounts of competitive experience. They came in, they took some decisive wins against some big teams. And look, honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't give Big Dogz a run for their money tonight.
Yeah, I'm keen to see which of these teams do show up tonight, because it does feel like a lot of their results are based on that. Last time we saw these teams play was back in the round robin stage a few weeks ago. Was on Coastline, 7-5. The round difference was only 2 rounds apart. You look at the leaderboard, that would have actually flipped them on the space. I mean, I guess in the end it wouldn't matter. They'd still be playing each other, but that's the difference between these 2 teams.
Yeah, and well, look, speaking of the 2 teams, why don't we have a bit of a look at who's going to be hitting the field tonight. And up first, it's the Big Dogz, and there is a new face in the roster. Boff Kingrels, Pac-Man Down Under, Tiltek coming in. He did play through the open qualifiers under Team Helios. Unfortunately, Shaq is having some computer issues, so he won't be able to play in tonight. But honestly, this guy is a solid stand-in.
Yeah, tell me about this, because losing Shaq for the playoffs, that's a big deal to me. So is Tiltek and the rest of this lineup, is it going to be enough to make the whole run?
I mean, Tiltek, he's a stalwart of the scene. He's consistently playing at a high rank. He's consistently involved in comp. The guy is just an absolute savant at the game. And with Pants, obviously, the one New Zealander holding things down, rounding up the roster, he as well has been having a pretty solid season.
Look, got to back the Kiwis anytime you can. There's only about 3 in the whole league, so heads up to your Pants. But your opponents tonight, we're going to take a look at these guys as well. Prolific, like you've mentioned, a very well-rounded org. We'll take a look at these guys. They can be your Angels or they can be your Devils. Levi, Nova, Mixers, Trace, and Fluxus. So, well-rounded. They put out the results. They take some big games. But same question, can they make the whole gauntlet run?
Well, I mean, these guys are incredibly fired up. They're incredibly determined. Their work ethic is absolutely phenomenal. I talked to Flux earlier in the week, and they said they've been watching Six Invitational. They want to get back into the comp side of things. They are ready to come in swinging tonight.
Man, I'm so keen to see these guys. Another thing I'm keen to see as well is those individual matchups. We've had a lot of really good 1v1s, but in a bit of a different style here, Boff versus Tracy. Now, these guys, when they hit the field, are they looking to be the ones that are the entry fraggers, or are they the more supporting style for their team? Tell us, Billy.
I mean, yeah, basically these are your go-to supports. On the side of prolific Tracy, he fills that sort of hard breach anchor role on the defense. Still puts up decent numbers. Boff, on the other side of things, he hasn't quite got as solid of numbers, but he's consistently there. The work he does in a round enables a win.
Man, and even looking at his most played defensive operator there, Warden. I mean, that's a real surprising one. I hope we see it tonight. We'll probably get a good idea of that when we see the maps. But before we see any of that, we did actually catch up with both of these players before the gauntlet has even started, and we got a little look to see how they're feeling before the big weekend.
Hi, my name is Raymond. My in-game name is Trace, and I play for Prolific Esports. Our team's doing very strong. Hopefully we can, achieve third or fourth, because we did come into the season expecting just to keep out of relegations, but we want to aim higher and see how far we can get into the gauntlet. It will be a bit more difficult since we start at the bottom and we have to fight our way to the top.
At the end, coming out of Prolific.
IRL name's Kaz. Most people know me by Boff in-game. I currently play for Team Big Dogs, or Old Dogs as the other guys like to call us. Team Big Dogs, we're feeling like we back ourselves, man. We're feeling pretty confident, but on that same note, we don't want to go into there cocky or underestimate anyone.
And he get him with the surprise, and it's just a total freebie for Shaq.
We feel like they are the easy opponent in the whole gauntlet, and we did beat them before. So as long as we prep again, counter strat, and keep practicing and scrimming, we should be able to beat them again.
I wouldn't say we're worried about any of them. Like, them boys, they're decent players, but they're nothing we haven't seen before. And it's almost like a chess game sometimes. Like, some teams had like Fury. It's more like a chessboard game. You're both like thinking in your heads like, okay, they're making this move, we need to make this move. They're making that move, we need to make this move. Whereas Prolific sometimes that's all out the window. It's just chaos and gunfights.
So patiently. Oh, Tracy.
Skill gap between every team is not that huge in the finals. As long as we don't make mistakes or we throw, you should be able to beat every team. Every team in that gauntlet should be able to beat each other. I'm more concerned about X though, due to their, Dave came out of nowhere. They were pretty good last LPL Pro season. I'm concerned they actually might come first or be the strongest team overall.
And we won't be backing down. We're thinking about it at the end game. We're thinking about Skyfire, right? Because we have to win 3 in a row to then go to the grand final to verse Skyfire. So that's really the end goal.
Well, it seems to me that the whole Oceanic Challenger League all is based around defense. Like, every team is winning most of the defenses. No team can pretty much attack. What makes us different is we're focusing on where our weaknesses are, attacking. So as long as the first team to attack well should be the first team to win stage 1.
Really smart words actually coming out from both players, but one thing that stands out to me, Panda, is actually Boff saying that they're going to go in tonight not being overconfident, not getting too cocky. Do you think that's actually going to happen?
Look, if Big Dogs had a motto, their motto would be confidence is key, because they have got it in spades. But honestly, the most interesting thing to take away is, I think, something that Tracy said. Teams in Oceanic Challenger League, they struggle on attack. They can defend really, really well, but attack is poor. And that speaks out. I've been doing the stats, the last couple of days. Both teams are sitting around a 35% attacking win rate, 65% defense win rate.
And that's quite common, actually, throughout the league. So it's a really good comment to see them make, not just for this match, but for, I guess, the rest of the playoffs. They're going to be, or they're both aiming for much higher. You even heard Big Dogs themselves say, we're going for Skyfire. We're going for the very top. So, you got to have your eye on every team in the gauntlet. So it's good to see they've got a good little eye for that one. But they're also not really super worried about each other in the gauntlet. So I'm also keen to see how they play into that one. But we do have a little update. It's the maps to see where we're going to be playing. Do we finally get Chalet now that we're in best of 3? No. Oh, man. Okay, maybe tomorrow. Villa, Oregon, and Clubhouse. So very comfortable maps. We've seen these guys a lot.
I mean, yes and no. Prolific. every single week of play have banned out Villa Catface. So this is the first time they are going to be going there. Yeah, Chalet got banned out. I mean, I think it was Big Dogz 6 out of 7 weeks they banned it, and the other time it was left to their
Watching
teammates.
you, Big Dogz.
So look, there's some interesting stuff on the board. I'm interested to see why we ended up here. Obviously, you got the bans there. Coastline banned away because obviously that's where they lost last time. Consulate, Prolific saw that match against Fury. They said, no, we're not going to risk it. But Oregon, both teams have played it so far. The only team, actually, well, Prolific, they're 1-1. Big Dogz, they're 1-0. So it is still pretty neutral territory. It's going to be an interesting one. Same with the likes of Clubhouse. Both teams, ironically enough, sitting negative on Clubhouse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think remembering their Clubhouse matches, they were against some pretty tough teams. But I think the important thing is some of these teams will be pretty comfortable, but the Villa one is probably going to be the one that stands out the most. And luckily for us, we get that first. I think that's the most exciting thing. Big Dogz probably touching on that it's been banned every week. They see that it's open for the first map pick. They're going to nab it up straight away, maybe trying to make their opponents uncomfortable here on the very first game. And we're moments away, Billy, so I get to ask you that fun question, which is, do you have a prediction for me? Can you solidly make a guess?
No, I honestly couldn't. I think it's going to come down to who gets defense first, and that will determine sort of how the momentum of the match goes. Obviously, get a bit of a runaway. Prolific can look really, really solid, especially given that's where they're starting. And already, look, Big Dogz, they're in chat. We know that they have a history of certain issues being around that. But Shaq, he's not in the matchup tonight. Maybe, just maybe, that will give them a bit more freedom.
Yeah, I mean, impossible to have the Shaq curse if Shaq isn't even in the server. So this man, he's been banned almost 80% of the matches so far. So no surprise to see Thatcher taken away straight away at the beginning of the match. Big Dogz, they like to play around with their bans sometimes. You know, they'll be the team that'll ban Maverick when Thatcher's already banned when you're playing on Clubhouse. Will they do it here today? Habana being the next ban throwing out, it suggests maybe a little bit out there, but I mean, nothing terribly surprising.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was either going to be a Habana, an Ace, or a Nomad, and realistically, no one on the side of Prolific is that threatening when it comes to the Nomad. The Habana is a real issue. That ranged hard breach gives you so many options. Defender bans, I'm expecting the likes of Amira, given how frequently it's banned, but Pulse is being taken away here by the Big Dogz. It is something that Prolific have shown to play. Tracy, in particular, has been the one to pick it up a couple of times, and, well, quite lethally at that.
Yeah, and Pulse is such a lethal, lethal operator is a good word for it, actually. Odin Villa, because there's so many opportunities for C4, just get him out of there. It does leave some exciting operators. We see Mirror and Valkyrie, man, almost more than half the time on almost all of these maps, both strong operators here on Villa. Mirror's going to be the one to cop the ban, which means Valkyrie is going to be an option for these teams. Plenty of nice little camera spots for them. We'll see if it does get picked up. But here we are. The bans all are now done. So let's head off into round number 1 of the first match here in the playoffs for OCL. Big Dogz versus Prolific.
Not only that, but it's also Tiltek's first Oceanic Challenger League match. The guy's done a bit of a speed run, got himself straight to playoffs. We do have a tech pause coming in, unfortunately. Some minor issues around the anti-cheat, but look, we see some interesting stuff later through. Where My Cade weren't banned out, 2 operators that have seen a rise in priority around that ban phase. Levi is going to pick up the tried and true Jaeger, it would seem, especially given that we're gearing up to go back to Aviator Games, the quintessential bomb site on this map. Honestly, gearing up to be a pretty well-rounded setup for the defense, but look, I'm not anticipating Boff to stick the big Frenchman out.
I mean, it would be real good if it did, but yeah, with the tech pause coming out, we're not going to know for a little bit. It may end up being a rehost. We'll keep you guys updated as soon as we know, but we get a little taste of the operators that we might see in the first round. It looked like it was going to be AVG to be the first site as well, so all things are looking pretty normal, but I think the thing that you mentioned with, several powerful defenders getting through on bans, Wamai, Kaid, those ones are probably going to stick out quite a lot. So do you think it's now on the attackers to just have a really good half if you're going to be the one to take out the win?
I mean, it's always on the attacking side, especially on a map like Villa where you just have those natural advantages as a defender. Honestly, Big Dogz, they need to come and swing. And King Grills definitely is going to be sort of the spearhead for the team. I wouldn't be surprised if we see, actually no, it's almost guaranteed that Tiltek will be picking up that secondary entry role, which was Shaq's role on the whole.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, look, big shoes, but Tiltek, he's still an incredibly capable fragger. I've played with him. I know him. I've talked to him a bunch over the last couple of months and seen how he's feeling about things. But, I mean, it's Kangaroo's the one that needs to take notice of him. In the season, had a positive 15 kill differential, was the 4th highest kill differential in this group stage.
He was doing real well considering like how his team's matches were actually going. You know, quite often you see the chart toppers to be the team that's winning as well, but you know, him making it up there is quite impactful too. But we've ended the technical pause. We're now back into round number 1. Let's see what operators did stick through. Looks like, unfortunately, the big boy Monty did not get to stick through.
Yeah, look, I'm not overly surprised on a map like Billy. You want to bring something like the Nomad, that flank watch, given those key power positions around the stairs. Deny the flank up from below, just make it that much more secure when you're executing onto the site. We do see the Valkyrie coming through for Mixers. They've got a lot of intel to play off of here. They're not bringing the bulletproof cam, which is going to, you know, receive a bit of a nerf going into the next major update, North Star. But here right now, in the thick of things, they're gearing up, final preparations underway. Tiltek's first round of the Oceanic Challenger League, picking up the Ash. It's one of his go-to operators. See if he can do the big work.
Well, look, you've primed him up quite a lot here, so I'm keen to see what this man can pull off here on the Ash. Tiltek is going to be looking at heading his way in. Round number 1, this is the time to make that statement play, to see who is showing up, who's got their consistency boots strapped on tight for this match. We know that this game can simply go either way depending on how the players are feeling. So here we are, a little bit of droning to get us inside. Mixes the first one spotted out, and he may be the very first target. A little bit of a pixel angle, and he'll fall back to the closet just to stay a little bit safer, but they should surely be hunting him down first.
Yeah, we already seem to have had one Nitro expended here, and unfortunately Flux isn't going to be able to find anything off the back of it. They're threatened into that bathroom area. They are very aware of the verticality of this map. They can look to play around it, but look at Tiltek, he's on the hunt. Mixers could find himself in a bit of trouble as he rotates back towards the bomb site. Still alive for the moment, but definitely feeling the pressure hot on his heels.
Yeah, Mixers being alive is really important there. So he does manage to fall back, keeping that 5v5 so big in the later stages of the game. Big Dogz, they've made some decent progress here, pushing Mixers back in particular. But another player they're also going to have to worry about is this man here, Levi, hunting on the stairs. They do know where he is, but of course Tiltek is the first one to be found. Debut match, first one to fall. Unfortunately for him, he'll be looking to round 2 to make a better performance, but for now Prolific with the advantage.
Big pickup to find. It's a lot of utility clear now off the board. It's those powerful cameras enabling plays like that. Tracy, one of the highest rated players in the competition, 3rd overall with a 1.2, so definitely going to be contributing round after round here for the team. Not to mention playing on that mute can do a huge amount of work with the SMG 11. A lot of utility set up to try and clear out some of the off-site players. Upside down repel onto Classical. Pants looking to find anything and everything he can. There's a lot of spread on the side of Prolific.
Yeah, there's so much to do for Big Dogz left to go. I mean, they're setting up some of the final steps here, like those extra air jabs, but there's roamers like Fluxus that they haven't dealt with. He should be aware that the air jab is around and will be able to shoot it out if he's trying to make his sneaky play. But with 30 seconds left, Big Dogz, it's time for the execute. They're a man down, but they've got Mixers a little bit low, so it might work out, but they've got to make the play. They've drained the utility all that they can. Those C4s all but empty there for Prolific, guarding away from any potential flankers. They know it's a possibility, and they're trying to catch them out, but at some point, they've got to make the move, and it's actually Prolific to catch the first one. Levi sneaking up as well in the background. They've got to keep their eyes open for that one, but it's just the Big Dogz falling. Prolific looking to make round number 1 a flawless one. One more to go. It's Pants downstairs, seconds left, and Prolific will catch round number 1 without a death.
A big one to be picking up there. The sandwich was so well executed. Flux bided his time around Astro Stairs, pinched up through Master, swung out onto the 2 players standing Zombie, absolutely murked him. Tracy timed his swing as well onto Pac-Man and Study. It's just coordination, it's key, and it works very, very well for them. AVG down will be sending us into Trophy Statuary split site, and it looks like we're getting something similar. Bit of a Naruni though to throw into the mix.
Yep, and we'll see that one pop up on the side occasionally. Plenty of great spots for that Shurian Gate. Levi, previous round, also pretty solid performance there on the sandwich maneuver and making that execute and go off, so shout out to him as well. But for the most part, you're right, a very, very similar defending lineup, although the Val teased for a 6-pick there, but I don't think that one got confirmed or locked in or anything. So Big Dogz, they're here for another go at it. Can they get it done on another site?
Well, look, if anyone's going to bring out the big six pick, it'll probably be Tiltek, the man himself. He's known for it. Coming into round 2, though, Split, it presents its own opportunities in this defense setup. Do we see a walk-in closet hold? I mean, you've got a Jaeger, you've got that Nuke playing with the M590. It can be a very, very strong hold paired with Yuruni. But we are going to see that very traditional spread over towards AVG. It's a very, very solid extension. Gives you a lot of horizontal control. But I'm keen to see who they're sending us as. I would imagine possibly Mixes, possibly even Fluxus, given that he can play around the Nitro. The verticality, again, so important here on Village.
Yeah, and that's why you see things like Pulse Band out, right? It's just so easy to play with something like that, tracking the movements above, but they don't have that one to play around with, but still plenty of other options. The Valkyrie certainly helps out quite a lot. Mixes getting value out of that in the previous round, and managed to get into a bit of a fight last time, so we'll see how that goes from this one, but they should have most of the sound cues on where big dogs are coming in, so it should be prolific to meet them here for the first gunfight.
Oh, Kangaroo's just jiggling around that study door, looking in towards Aviator. We'll give Boff the opportunity to walk in towards top main and look to start clearing things out, give them that flank watch they so desperately need in the setup, as proven by that last round. Information is going to be absolutely huge. You see Pac-Man on the drone. He picks up the ace. It's his iconic operator. Plays it in comp. He plays it in rank. Hell, he even plays it in casual. One camera spotted though. Big Dogs, they are doing the work they need to get themselves in position for this to execute. The less information available, the more work they can do.
Yeah, these Shuriga gates are certainly going to stop Big Dogs in their tracks now that they've reached them here, but this is some solid control so far of the building. Plenty of air jabs also set up on the stairs, so flank watch already starting to get done. A lot of live droning coming out from Big Dogs too, so they are being rather cautious about this, but it's King Grills here. He's found his first battle. Fluxu is going to be defending against this one, has his Vulcan shield here, at least for a little bit longer. It's going to be sticking around, so he's going to be able to hold them off for quite a while. Surely Big Dog's looking to bring in some utility. They've got those OP, but straight into the head. The big buff dog is going to take out Levi around the corner, just like that.
Yeah, unfortunate. I think, again, it's probably coming down to the unfortunate nerf that Jaeger did receive. The recoil's a little bit different. Less bullets in the mag makes it that much harder to take a gunfight. It's still something that these players are going to take a while to get used to, but Flux with a bit of a nitro play outside of Statuary has been forced off the shield sprays. Tiltek will have to pull back. Doesn't want to commit to that gunfight if he doesn't need to, but it's damage done that can be finished off later on.
Yeah, but Prolific a man down. They don't have the luxury they did in the previous one, and even less so now, as Fluxus will fall to that frag from Pants. Mixes sitting on site here, trades it straight back. Now behind the breach, chucks the C4, but it's going to be too dead to detonate it. And now Big Dogs, a big advantage. More will fall for Prolific, and we're going to even up the score here, unless Nova has something in his bag of tricks. But in a 1v4 scenario, it's going to be a damn big bag.
They had no idea he was there. One, can he find the second? Not a chance. Pants is just an absolute demon with that SMG11. Big Dogs, they're going to equalize in the second. A much more chaotic round than the first. And Prolific, they started coming back a little bit. They found a couple of key frags, put Tiltek in the dirt. And again, unfortunately, but the overwhelming presence on the bomb site, the unfortunate nature of, just being locked away from the site. Yeah, it's just a big round for the Big Dogs.
Yeah, and great roam clear. You had Boff just hunting around, making sure there's no cheeky little roamers that are gonna sneak up on them, along with the Nomads. Big Dogs were not being taken by surprise in this round, that's for sure. They certainly learned that one from round number 1. And it certainly worked out in spades, as they did take some pretty solid control of that round. Jumping around with the IQ pick there for the 6-1 off of Ash, but they are looking to perhaps counter out a little bit of that Valkyrie play. But astute viewers will notice that we did not see Valkyrie get locked in. Instead, it was someone a little bit angrier. Clash.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's something that Prolific have played a little bit throughout the round robin. It's not uncertain territory, and I think they're relegating Tiltek to a more information gathering role. The Jack, not a terrible gun by any means, but it's one you're going to want to keep active for a lot longer than you are the R4C. Scout out the utilities, scout out the information. If they can get those mute jammers off the board early, could definitely enable them to go for some more of those aggressive push plays. But back at a 1-1, even here as we are going into round number 3.
Man,
Prolific, they're looking good to maybe, just maybe, give Big Dog a run for their money.
So what I'm looking at is here with the Ash swap, between the ADS, the Vulcan shields, and the Shuriga gates, they don't have a lot of utility to throw into that. They've got a few stun grenades in hand, but even Ace doesn't even have his smokes anymore. He's got breaching charges. So, you know, Big Dogz, they've got quite a lot of utility to get through now that they don't have the breaching rounds from Ash. Tiltek, he's going to have to get some more value through the scanner, trying to find those electronics. But first challenge here should be Fluxus here, but no shield for him just yet.
Oh, cheeky spray. The Kingrill's going to tag him up heavy. A lot of damage down. He's not going to be deterred just yet. Just going to continue jiggling around, getting that door open, and Flux, look, he can pull back to his shield. Very happy with that.
Really can't lose the Sophia either. I mean, I was just talking about how important some of that utility is going to be. They're going to need everything they can to get rid of those Vulcan shields. You can see how well you've got Fluxus playing, and he doesn't even have a shield. So when he falls back to one, you know that they're going to have to be able to deal with that. But 2 minutes now left on the clock, so 1 minute in, and well, Big Dogz, they're still yet to truly step inside. Only really Tiltek managing to make a pretty decent clear here through Billiards, and we'll move on through the other sites. But it's really the other side of the building he's going to want to make it to.
I mean, if he can get in position, he can scout out some utility at the very least. He's going to know that there's an ADS close by that shield. They're going to be able to coordinate just a little bit better in the destruction of it. Fluxus, though, he's not deterred. He's keen. He's got a shield. He's got mixers in support over by the trophy entrance as well. So there's a lot of resistance that Big Dogz could be meeting momentarily. It could even be a case of, yeah, send Pants in downstairs, look for the frag grenade plays, play around the verticality. Taking Mixers or Fluxus off the board here would be huge.
Yeah, he's probably cooking it right now, but there goes the Vulcan. The next going to be Mixers. Does he have a frag in hand? Fluxus is perfectly fine to fall back to site and even let the flames around the clock down a little bit more, but it's Pants. He does get Levi. In fact, just shooting him through the floor. Tiltek will make it the next one. Gets that bulletproof camera as well as a how do you do on top of that one. Now 2 men down. Can they get it done?
Well, Tiltek's got his first. They've got a big advantage here, but Nova is still on site with that P10 Roni. It's an absolute fiend of a gun. Tracy rotating in down below, trying to catch out anyone and everyone. Boff swings, finds the head. Nitro cell below, but Tracy, that's your own teammate. He's going to be fragged out by Pants, who's still down below, and Mixers, no chance. Big Dogz with a flawless of their own.
Yeah, and it got a little dicey when, you know, they started to, you know, take a few first steps and you're thinking, maybe they might not have enough for this. But they use all the utility very wisely. They pick up the frags where they really matter. And Tiltek getting his first few kills there as well, contributing, putting Big Dogz in the lead. And it looks like IQ should be sticking around there. Even without the Valkyrie, it seemed to get some value out of that one, even just by having a good gun. You know, sometimes it does just come down to that one.
Well, Aviator Games up on the docket. Mixers, he's going to go for that 6th pick onto the Valkyrie. Back on the information gather. It makes sense. It's so powerful here. But Tiltek, he's not going to be the one to change. Sticks with the IQ. They're going to have plenty of information gathering potential, especially with a Whammy on the board. I mean, that is just 3 points.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Yeah, so that is, again, going to throw in a few issues there with the Jaeger and the Whammy. Of course, projectiles even more annoying to get through. Sure, no Shuri gates this time, but Whammy certainly makes up for that. So once more, it's going to be Big Dogz. How well do they deal with that? Do they get through it nice and efficiently? Fluxus didn't seem to hang on to his shields too long once they did start to get challenged. So Big Dogz absolutely able to get through a lot of that, but yeah, I mean, look, the ability to just bring the amount of shields that Goyo does is just quite invaluable. So it's actually quite impressive to see Big Dogz able to just mow through that even without the Ash.
5 seconds remaining.
Last minute setup being done. They want to open up the angles, give themselves the position to contest. This time it's an Aviator Games extension over towards Split. That's something you see every day. Well, actually, no, it's something you do see quite often here in Villa, but it's one of those ones you either play it, pull off as soon as you meet resistance, or you hunker down, you double down that position and look to aggressively swing anyone pushing in towards the master bedroom. So it's going to be interesting to see how Prolific look to play this. Otherwise, pretty cookie cutter setup for the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean, Big Dogz have been pretty good at roam clearing so far, so I'd say they should be able to handle that side of things pretty well in this round. And, you know, the last round went fairly decently too, so feeling like they're showing up here to play. But Prolific haven't been any slouches throughout the previous rounds either so far, but let's see if they can meet their first challenge. It's going to be Mixers who's a little further up, has a few cameras for support, but has a good little escape route to get back to his team if things do get a little dicey.
It's pertinent to remember, last time we saw Big Dogz on Villa, it was against Pride, where they did unfortunately crush the dreams of the last place roster going into the playoff stage. 7-5, so they were taken quite deep into the map as well. Maybe that's what has given Prolific that, bolster of confidence coming into this matchup. But drone work here around number 4 as we get closer and closer to the second half of said round is going to be even more important. They're going to look to push it. Oh, Tiltek just escaping death. They have been so close with a number of these Nitros.
They only just droned Fluxos out as well, so that could have been a second difference and would have been a kill. But Tiltek, he survives with a small amount of health, so he'll be all right. But a small breeze is going to knock him over at this stage. Droning still now coming out, and you look over at the drones available, Big Dogs still have quite a lot. So all the information is certainly going to be there for them to push Prolific up. They've just lost a little bit of health, but they haven't spent a decent amount of time. They've got to deal with Levi here on the stairs, who is just wasting so much time, doesn't catch him in the vault animation, and will get down instead, just not in time. King Grills happy to take that one.
Again, this unfortunate nerf that the 416 has received, making it a little bit harder for Levi to connect those shots. King Grills as well is just an absolute whip when it comes to connecting, and they can now set themselves up for this push onto the site. You can hear that flank watch being set up here. One more camera off the board. They're just looking to cover their bases. Boff on the job. Utility dump through in towards Aviator. And the site for the moment is clear. Mixers rotating into Vault. We'll have something to say about that. But the drone is just getting so much information. Kingrel's caught from behind. Flux is going to nail that shot from the first floor. Pac-Man's down on the balcony. Unfortunately, first Selma gets eaten, but the second one is going to be there to capitalize and open up some of these long angles. But Tracy, he's on the hunt. Can he swing out the doorway? Tiltek on the plan at the moment behind the vault door, looking to get themselves that much-needed time kick here. And there we go. It's done. Frag grenade being thrown, but Flux from behind. He gets faded out immediately. Tiltek on the job. Mixes with a nitro cell. Quick trades back and forth. Mixes is on the defuse right now. Pants, can he get there? Can he deny? Mixes is going to hold on for the moment. One covering. Tracy's there to secure. And Prolific don't fake out the defuse.
Yeah, never bait it. Go all the way. Like you've got the confidence of a great god, getting that one done there. Tight, tense situation from both sides, I've got to say. Tracy locked up in the study, hanging out with Pac-Man just outside, breaching the wall right in front of him. Tense situations like that all around. So I'd say that was definitely one of the closer looking rounds there. And both teams had some really great moments in there, but at the end of the day, it's the last good moment that matters. And Prolific getting the counter defuse certainly made a good play there. Excellent work coming out from both sides. I think we could be in for a long one here, Billy.
Unfortunate. Big mistake there from the side of Big Dogs. No one covering the post plant. No one playing from below. Just lets Prolific set up for that post plant situation. Tracy covering the door. Mixers on the job, and they just have the confidence and the trust in each other to stick that one out. For the first time, though, we are going to be heading downstairs to our first floor bomb site. Dining and kitchen making its way through. This is where you'd usually bring that pulse in, look to play around the verticality, bring a number of nitro cells. They don't have that option, so they're going to double down on that utility denial, clear out the throwables, clear out that utility, and look to hunker down. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a bit of a vertical extension even.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of spots you can take as an attacker upstairs that the defenders are definitely going to want to hold. But you also look at their lineup, the shields are certainly going to, warrant some defense down on the horizontal side. So you're going to see them upstairs, you're going to see them downstairs, depending on what areas they want to look to hold. But it's going to be, playing around with verticality quite a lot. But Prolific, their test is going to be when they have to fall back. How well can they hunker down? How well can they get out alive to survive that one there? Because holding upstairs forever, it's not always on the table.
I mean, they've got the utility to do it. Where am I on the board? The Saria Gates, just an ADS, even chuck down in support, is going to give Mixers a huge amount of control over this portion of the map. And, well, Tiltek, he's not wasting any time. Heads straight over towards that laundry door, gets the scanner up, gets that information going as to confirming where the bomb site is. Most teams won't send a drone in to confirm bomb sites. They'll go for an inkling, set up those flank drones and get themselves prepped and ready to go.
This one could be the break. Both teams tied up here 2 apiece. First time going downstairs. Big Dogs, a bit slower here, but certainly being very cautious. King Grill's now finally getting on inside after the droning has now been done, but still has to check every single corner, every single possible confrontation possibility. So they're using their time to make sure everything is working out here, but King Grill's just going to be holding the angle. Pants the Kiwi, he's the one really moving around.
Got a lot of work to do to get in position, and Boff just sprays through the soft wall into Bike. That's unfortunate. I can just absolutely understand how he feels. The number of times I've been punished through that position is just devastating. You forget for a moment, and that's all it takes. He's going to look to try and regress around it, but that bicycle position's a dangerous one.
Yeah, luckily does manage to get down outside, so free little revive for his team, but someone that won't be revived is going to be King Grills, just taken out just like that. No opportunity to come back for him. Tiltek now also in the building upstairs, eyes on the Sharia gate, but can't really do much with it, just looking to cut off the rotation. 1 minute left now. We still need to get those air jabs up as well. Otherwise, the Big Dog is going to have some serious flanking issues. Pants getting some pretty strong control and presence upstairs as he takes the statuary room as well. So this is where we can now start to open up the floor, but once we, get through the Sharia gate.
Now, unfortunately, there's still nitro cells to contest with, but a frag committed will mean they can carry on the job. King Grills is the one doing it before he died.
So dangerous.
Pac-Man is there, but Nova's watching, and there, just the soft breach, all but gutted here. Well, look, Tiltek's used all his breaching charges. They're looking for the Z pings, and Tilt's going to be punished hugely. This could almost be a perfect flawless. There we go. Nova takes down Bob. Pac just has to walk through the Saria gate. He falls. Nova will be traded out by Tiltek, but it's a big triple, and it will mean Prolific, more likely than almost guaranteed, will be the one to take his 5th round.
Quick little one from Tiltek, but of course, as we know at time, oh man, another really good one. I mean, I think he knew the jig was kind of up, so gonna cancel that one. Pants, I mean, a little awkward there on the sledge. I mean, I know they were running a little low on time and had to get things done quickly, but standing around on the sledge holes you make right after you make them, maybe you're looking for the surprise frag, but it's such a double-edged sword there as Pants. I mean, he saw what happened, he copped a few bullets from below the moment he opened up that floor. Didn't even need a C4 for it.
I mean, a moment's hesitation playing around verticality is going to be punished, and Nova, 3 crisp kills in that round, does just absolutely gut Big Dog's attempt at things. And well, Nova, he was baiting out the Warden, and Boff, he's going to be the one to 6-pick this time. Nomad onto a Capital. They're looking to play things a little bit more aggressively.
Yeah, I mean, you better hope you want to be moving up pretty quickly here, because without the air jabs covering your flanks, Villa is a scary map. Plenty of stairs to be able to move on, catch you from behind, so they're roam clear. Like I said, it's got to really be on point, but I want to see where these Capital bots are going to be focused on, because you don't pick off Nomad unless you have a really good reason. Not on Villa.
Look, yeah, it is a case of you want to make sure you have the utility, you want to have the tools in the belt to be able to go and get those round wins. Capital, it is going to play into their playstyle a little bit more. They like to play it loose.
Charge too.
Yeah, it fills a secondary hard breach role in this setup. But Tiltek, he's starting to warm up. We saw those big kills in the last round. Didn't have the time to find anything more off the back of it, but they might be able to make it a real show here.
It's like a drone. Up there, is Mix is actually going to spot it out there, just up on the bookcase. Looks like it's hidden well enough, so Big Dog's going to have a nice little view down 90, and even seeing Mix is like right at the very beginning as well. Knowing where the clash is at the start of the round is going to be very nice for Big Dogs to be working off, so some good value. What are they going to be able to pull off out of it? Because the Sharia gates are surely going to be their first point of contention, where these first gunfights are going to begin. And that is always going to be favouring Prolific there, as they can just cower behind them, hide behind their shields, and just go for those peaks.
Tracy is downstairs on a very aggressive roam with this mute down towards Piano. Might even find something off the nitros there. They do have 2 in pocket.
Does have Clash the spot.
They've got a lot of potential information here. This is something that needs to be cleared out and dealt with. He is rotating around. Obviously, the comms coming through. They know King Grills, if they take him off the board early, would be absolutely devastating. He's looking for it. He's staring at the spot. Just wants the info. Just wants the call that there is someone there. Cam, well, it's going to be a drone to clear things out. And surely the toss, it's there. It's good, yes. Good Goodbye, King Grills, the 2 top-rated players on each team. Unfortunately, Tracy is just better on the day.
Man, and what a beautiful little play. You know that Prolific were definitely calling that one out to each other. You've got Mixers there on the clash, easily able to safely see people to go for the shots. They're calling out Tiltek's position as well. Maybe, actually no. Looks like Tracy's just going to be backing away from that one, but he had the holes in the floor. He even has the shotgun to make more if he really needs to keep that presence down. But we'll go for the safe option instead, retreat back. And Big Dogz, well, they got to wonder where he is.
Pants does have the frag. He's going to try and nail it from the side. And
ADS
just eaten by the ADS there. That Surrogate's going to prove a real thorn in the side. Flux did go for the rip of the Nitro Cell, but nothing just yet. They lose the Vulcan shield, but I mean, look, they've got a mobile shield in the back pocket anyway. Mix is still holding down this statuary door, waiting for someone to push in. More key information being fed through. They just don't seem to have an answer to it. Teltek, he's going to be the one to try and take the fight. The thing's coming through. He's got to find the kill off the shoulder of Mixes. It's going to be Flux for 1, but the trade is there. Boff does take down Levi. 34 seconds left on the clock. Nova playing around Bomb Chassis again. They're all being swayed by this clash. Nova again takes down Boff, leaves it now in a 1v4, and Nova going huge with the Roni, picks up a massive half for Prolific.
I don't know how in pain I should be from seeing that. The Clash just solo standing there on their own. I mean, actually, no, they had backup for sure, but basically looking like the only wall they could not get through at all. A beautiful little move coming out from him, but man, that has got to make the attackers mad. Big Dog's not going to be happy about that one, but they now get to be the defenders. So 4-2 half coming from Prolific on the defense. Question's going to be, is it going to be enough now that we're swapping sides?
We have had a tech pause come in once again, having some minor ping issues here on the side of Prolific, but already we've seen a very, very solid half. Big Dogz, they've picked up 2. It's a 4-2 split. But obviously, like we saw in that interview, a lot of teams in this competition, very, very solid on the defense. A 65-35 split between both these teams in their defense and attack win rates, respectively. That's got to be concerning for Prolific, especially given that we've seen both teams play very well on the defense. Now they're switching over to their attack half. We could see overtime on the cards.
I mean, we've seen just full-on 6-0 halves on Villa when a team just swaps over to defense. So anything can happen here. Prolific, they're just going to have to hope that it was enough there with that defense. And like they said as well, they've been working on their weaknesses. They've been working on their attacking rounds. So if we're going to see any improvement in Prolific over the last few weeks, apparently it's going to be here. So I'm keen to see what they're pulling out now that they're on the attack, because this is what they've promised us. They should surely have been expecting something like a Villa if it's been left open. So everything's just on the cards now for Prolific to show off.
I mean, this is a pretty even spread in terms of entries as well. 3-3 between both sides. Both teams have picked up 3 entries so far this half. I mean, look, you've got to wonder, is Tiltek coming in going to be enough to fill the shoes? So far, he's looking solid. He is looking to fill those shoes of Shaq very, very well. Now it's a question of what does he pick up on the defense? Because for Shaq, it was the Jaeger, he was the roamer, he was the impact player down below. Are we going to see Tiltek head that same way? He can play any number of things, honestly, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him. But there's those questions that have been left, and we haven't really seen any huge prioritization around hard breach. Cade is still available. We can see those hard, absolute denial setups. But so far, I mean, you got to commend Prolific on a solid half.
Yeah, and there is the other thing that we can talk about as well, is that some teams have been swapping away from the ace because of the fact he doesn't have the smoke grenades anymore. You don't expect Pac-Man to do that. Sorry, Boff, or whoever was manning it.
There was Pac. It's his attacking up. That's almost all he plays.
Yeah, so he's probably not going to swap off it. But the question is, do we see that come out from Prolific? Do they start playing around with the ace, or do they start testing other things? Do they start trying to bring in the Thermite? Because Hibana's banned. So Thermite, does he have a place on Villa now with the ace changes?
I mean, yes, it depends really on who you're asking about that at the end of the day. Ace player for the team is Tracy, ironically enough, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him pick it up. We've seen some interesting play. We're not seeing those, dying moments of the round, all-out 4-on-4, 5-on-5 chaotic gunfights. It's been sporadic gunfights here and there. 1, 2, 3 go down on either side, and then it just either comes down to the clock or it comes down to a couple of big frags going to one team or another. So it's going to be interesting. Do we see that switch? Do we see Big Dogz, who have been rather commanding on the defense? They're very well-rounded in the teams and operators they play. They're going to be running the likes of a Malusi, playing the stall, playing the slowdown. And, well, look, I mean, honestly, I have to back Prolific just a little bit more off that showing.
Yeah, I mean, things were looking pretty tight from them, but like you've been saying, Big Dogs have been showing their moments, right? But a quick little update is that we are just spending a little bit more time getting the server back working together properly for the match. So we're going to go to a quick break, and when we return, we'll be getting into the second half of the match.
Just $40 a month for endless data. Get endless data for just $40 on our small pay monthly mobile plan. It's data that never runs out. Go you.
I just time traveled. Today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all four corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya.
Oh, it's still in the garage.
Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for just sitting through that quick little break there while we get the game back in order. We're, of course, in the first game of the entire playoffs here in Stage 1 of the OCL. I'm Smite, this is Blue Panda. And man, we've seen pretty close match so far. Prolific taking a slight edge, getting that 4-2 on the attacking side. But now they're on the defense here on Villa. Can they get it done against the Big Dogs as we're just getting the match ready to get back into?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing. Prolific, they talked about, specifically Tracy in the interview, talked about how they've been working on their weaknesses, and for the majority of OCL, attack has been the weakness for the most of these teams.
For everyone, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a case of phenomenal defend the halves, and then look at just enough on the attacking side to get it over the edge. So, I mean, Prolific, if they've come in, if they've done their homework, if they're well-rounded enough to try and come in on the attack and take some big rounds away, we could see this map progress and finish up fairly soon.
Okay, so we're past the operator pick phase, so getting a quick glance at what has been picked up here. It looks like Ace is going to be the hard wrench of choice here between him and Thermite as Nirvana's off the table. And so they are going to stick around with it, although difference being he's bringing Claymores rather than the breaching charges. So slight difference, I guess, in how they're bringing the Ace now that he doesn't have the smoke grenades. But another difference would be the addition of Jackal here. So Levi is going to be looking to, kind of like how Big Dogs wanted to roam hunt, so do Prolific, but they want to do it with a little gadget help.
Attackers must
Interesting.
locate and defuse a bomb.
We do see the Malusi going into the hands of Tiltec. Pac-Man going to be picking up the Whammy. Malusi was his most played defender throughout the entirety of the round robin. So obviously having to facilitate these new roles, these new changes, making do Pac-Man a little bit quiet so far in the map, 0-3. So having survived 3 rounds so far, and well, that is what it is. Got to play that support role. He's the in-game later, so he's making all the big calls at the end of the day anyway. But they're looking to play aggressively off this statuary trophy extension all the way over. But yeah, Pac-Man, Tiltec all just jiggling around with that MP5, looking to do any early chip damage they can.
Man, is Pac-Man just looking for the kill that's going to tilt his opponent the most? These just occasional peaks, single, maybe double shots, just to try and find someone's head, and just playing around with the idea, saying, hey, look, I'm still here, but they might not know that there is a Valkyrie below them as well, where the C4 is certainly going to be an opportunity, probably a black eye cam in there somewhere that they'll be able to use too. So Prolific, I mean, they're just trying to take their first steps in, but on the other side of the map, though, it's King Grills. Actually found downstairs there by the anti-roaming squad, but speaking of squads, a whole one is getting wiped here. It's Prolific have made their first steps into the study now and taken a few lives.
Well, it looks like maybe, just maybe, they have fixed those mistakes in those areas they were making in the round robin, because at the moment, a 4-2 advantage. Only the two SAS operators, Pants and Boff, now remaining. Boff does play a bit of a flex on the defense, can play pretty much whatever is needed. Nitro Cell is prepped and ready, not detonated just yet, but it's the only one remaining. He's going to play it slow, does have the MP5 in hand rather than that M590 in Pants. Well, I mean, Smoke is his forte. The guy is an absolute fiend with the SMG-11. Very, very capable as well. Timing and patience are key, it would seem. Someone sitting on cams gave them that information and Mixes off the board.
That's the kind of kills they need because they are running very dry now. That was the last Toxic Babe we saw from the Smoke players, so no more of that going to be coming out for Pants. It's all going to be reliant on their gunfight skills. And Boff, he's already got the C4 kill. Can he get it done the old-fashioned way? Prolific now trying to step up onto Pants, who's just really trying to get reunited with his teammate, and there he is. Boff now along with him. They've got a nice little bunker down here, and Prolific, not actually a whole lot of time to make this final play happen. So 2v3, Big Dog's the man down, make that an even fight now, as Tracy will be the one to fall. Boff, he's still looking for more through that one little angle there, trying to catch him on the rotate around the door, but Pants has fallen to his side. Now down to a 1v2 with 5 seconds left. Are they going to be able to get the plant down? Prolific have to drop someone down. It's going to be Nova. Frags coming out to keep him alive. Tried to shoot. The plants are there, but it's going to connect, and Boff just swings around. Oh, no! No! Nova got it done in time. Matrixes his way around the bullets. We'll see it here. A second soon enough. And with a pistol too, picks up the round.
That is going to be crippling to the mental game of Big Dogs. They had the defuse denied in the first half in round number 4 with Mixes sticking it out. And now we've just seen Nova hold on, get the plant down. Boff had the angle, just wasn't aware that tucked in behind that shield was a Nomad planting the diffuser. And well, it looks like we may have a bit of a disconnect here. Nova has not picked an operator. Okay, no, there we go. Flores, he's going to have to 6-pick that. Yeah, okay. Just obviously some minor lag issues, but Flux, he's going to pick up his quintessential Buck. He has been playing this a lot during the round robin.
Yep, and it's always good to fall back onto those comfort operators just to make sure everything is going nice and easily, because you're going to be feeling pretty rough if you're Big Dogs after that match, after that round. But Prolific, they've got to be amped up. They're now 1 round away from that match point. If they can lock that in, they lock in overtime. Remember, though, this is different to the round robin stage. No fancy schmancy points being handed around here. You either win or you lose in overtime.
It's do or die, no second chances, no lower bracket, nothing of the sort. You got to win on the day, or you go home empty-handed. Well, not necessarily empty-handed, but you take the lesser of the two pockets. Well, here we go. We're going to be doubling down on the site. The Big Dog's going to be trying things once again. Teltec, he's on a bit of a roam downstairs in the art studio. Looking to play some cheeky angles, but I mean, this is an aggressive defensive setup for the split site, contesting into walking. A lot of offside presence as well, as we saw in that last round. This is exactly where Big Dogs want to be.
A lot of drone hunting too from Big Dogs, so they really want to keep their presence quite hidden. And the way they're playing, that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. I mean, you've got players just running around absolutely everywhere, like you mentioned, down in the art studio. You've got to wonder where King Grills is going to be on that Mozzie. It's actually going to be quite annoying getting intel against these guys. The Mute Mozzie combo, you're killing every drone as well. Little Nitro Cell, probably a little hopeful on that one. Probably needed a bit more Weet-Bix to make it out the door, but
he found a drone. Look, hey, he found a second drone. He's got that to work with.
As someone that will literally throw an impact at a drone during prep phase, I respect that.
Well, They have info, at the very least. They can look to play around it. Audio cues as well. They have to know that Tiltek is close by playing with that MP5. He's strung a few kills together now. He's not quite as quiet as he was earlier. The drone will spot him. Pre-fire coming out here. Mix is definitely on the hunt, but Tiltek says, nah, not going to have a bar of it. Rotates himself off, and now Flux going to try and open up some of those vertical angles, threaten him if he was on that game bomb site. But no, it's not to be. Prolific, they are taking things in stride.
I like what they're trying to do. They're trying to cut him off, but it seemed a little disconnected to catch him on the vertical angles, right? But you also have the same problem on the other stairs here with Boff. Also super annoying because he's going to have the mute jammers around. So just as annoying to deal with as the Mozzie. Fluxus, I mean, this is what he's trying to do. And again, I like it. They need to force Tiltek over those holes. But just like that, that hole there in bar, that's where you should be trying to catch him out. But he's able to rotate to it nice and safely and get out alive, but Prolific do take the stairs.
They've got 1:10 left, so it's not totally undoable, but they are going to be battling the clock here in this execute. Getting themselves some ground, they need to take Classic. They need to get through to 90 and get themselves out onto that landing outside the bomb site. But Tiltek, do they have an inkling? They've got a Jack on the board, so Levi surely has to spot some feet, has to have some idea of his proximity to this player. But for the moment, no Prolific. They aren't quite clued in. Flux is going to rotate around, go onto the Cal. Or Tiltek could be banged out here through that fault wall. If they have the info, if they just have the knowledge, that is going to be a huge frag to find. It's the positioning. Flux is ready. And it's actually Levi downstairs to find the kill onto Boff. Looking to play around that Nitro cell, and he's being punished for it.
Yeah, but 2.5 minutes to take out the mute. I don't know if that's going to be enough, Panda. Prolific, they've got 20 seconds left. They got a 5v4, so they've set themselves up, but they haven't dealt with Tiltek, and now they've lost the diffuser. That could be just it right there from the man Tiltek, but the wall bang, it did happen. They've managed to secure it back, but not long enough for Tiltek to hold down the fort along with Pac-Man. No one's getting the diffuser on his watch.
I mean, I did say Tiltek, he's a stalwart of the sea, and he plays a lot of the game, and he plays it at a very, very high level. I mean, it's almost all he does at the moment. He's injured himself, so he's going to have to sit at home and do pretty much this. You can understand why he was picked up here to fill this role of Shaq. And unfortunate, given the computer situation that the man's having, but I mean, Tiltek, if he can keep pulling that out of the bag, 100%, we could see Big Dogz overtake.
Yep, and there it is. The non-SSD player, I assume, finally loading in. Carly, probably going to be 6 picked off. There it is, to the Nomad. But yeah, I mean, not finding Tiltek, that's quite a mistake to make there, as it was critical in the final moments there. Yeah, you could argue they could be at that stage with a little more time to deal with it, but Tiltek, I mean, he was hanging out on top of some broken floor. It was a risky spot, to be sure, to be holed up in, but it certainly paid off.
AVG now coming in. Big Dogz, they do just sneak that one away. Phenomenal hold, though, and fault from the man himself. Just locks it down the MV5. He's now rocketed up towards the top of the leaderboard for the whole server. In fact, 9, 1, and 5. Picking up the Malusi here. Such a great operator. You can play it on the roam. You can play it as an anchor. Those Banshees as well. They're going to be a little bit weaker come the North Star update. For the moment, they're still an absolute pain in the neck.
Yeah, and that's the great thing. You can have the worst round ever, and you know, as long as you place your Banshees fine, they're still going to be doing the job. So, Big Dogz, they're holding off the inevitable for a little bit longer, but maybe they can change fate a little bit here as they need to pull off a few more rounds on the defense. Tiltek, if this one had worked out, that would have been a great way to push them into overtime, but doesn't quite get them there. So Prolific, they get to walk into this one with all 5 members having a head on their shoulders, and so Big Dogz, it's going to be another tough one.
Looking for the spawn peek over towards Fountain, almost get taken out by Stable. That's an interesting play for the Big Dogz. Luckily they do escape with all their health still remaining. They are doing a great job so far of keeping this one close. Their defense by far the preferred side, and will be an uphill battle for Prolific to try and close this one out. The round they did pick up, you've got to argue, was a little bit more luck than anything. The fact that Boff didn't commit onto the swing, having found that initial player, probably preempted the pull-off of the defuse, but no, it wasn't having a bar of it.
To be fair, Big Dogz had no right to be winning that round either. They came back from a 2v4 on that one, but sometimes those clutches do happen, and sometimes these kills do happen. Pants, again, our Kiwi boy being eliminated first here in round number 9.
That's the power of the Jackal. I mean, the C7E received a bit of a nerf as well, down to 26 rounds, 25 in the mag, 1 in the chamber if you're really being a stickler. But the PDW will see a rise in priority now. Big box mag, 50 rounds available. It's not quite as strong a weapon, but I mean, with a game like this, all you need is the kills, and Mix is going to find himself the second. Box again being punished, but the smoke and the mute off the board. That is a powerful duo to be losing early.
Yeah, this time they're eliminated first, and that's the worst time. Maybe not so much for the mute, but for the smoke. Would love to have those toxic babes at the end of the round. Right about now, in fact. And Prolific, I mean, having 2-man advantage as well, that's also got to feel pretty good. A few last little air jabs to stop any sneaky extra flanks. That's a sneaky air jab if I've seen one. And Nova hopefully able to catch that one out, but just a few more frags here. 2 men down. Big Dogz almost pulled it back before in a similar situation. Maybe they can do it again.
Tiltek playing in the middle, Aviator playing around the display as well. They're looking to clear out the utility so they can get this frag grenade through. But look at him, he's tucked in behind the vault door. The frag grenade isn't going to land where they want it to. 36 seconds left to play around. They have a huge player count advantage. 5 to the 3 remaining of the Big Dogz. Utility dump going through. Levi looking to place in the vertical angles. They are desperately trying to find any advantage, any opening, and unfortunately it goes the way of Pac-Man. He finds the kill onto the Jackal. Flux is jiggling around the door. Kingrills finds the equalizer, back to a 3-3 here. Time's not looking good. Tiltek's there for yet another. Flux falls. They will get one back, bring it back to even, but Nova's on the job. He's pulled it out again. Kingrills looking to hold down. He's found the equalizer, the trade. It's a 1v1 with 3 seconds to go. Tracy, he can't do it. There's no time left. King goes prone, plays the clock. Big Dogz bring it back within 1.
And if you were tilted before, that's a round that untilts you. Big Dogz managing to swing that one back despite the disadvantage. They burned down the clock. They still had plenty of shields left. Banshees, the magnets as well. Everything was still there. Prolific hadn't cleared it. And Big Dogz, even a man down, hold down the fort. Beautiful plays from them and Kingrills at the end as well, knowing that the clock was on his side. So almost evening up the scores here. Prolific needing to win just something more, a little bit more here now that they're on the attack. Does the Thermite actually get locked in, or is it going to be the Lion? Oh.
I think this is exactly what Prolific need. The roam game has just been such a real threat. Bring the Ash in, get that utility clear out, bring it in the line, make it that much harder to play off of these flank positions. Look to punish where you can, but look at that Tiltek. 10-1-6 in his debut match so far, and we're still not done yet.
Yeah, he's still got a while to go. I'm expecting more from him, especially because, well, this game feels like it's going to go quite a few more rounds. I'm feeling like the overtime might happen here, but you're right. The roam game has been big from Big Dogz. Part of the reason they've managed to keep the advantage for so long, keep the clock on their side. So Prolific, despite bringing the Jackal before, it looks like changing it up. It's going to be on the order. The Lion is going to be their option of choice. I mean, who are you catching out? There's also the Valkyrie cameras you've got to worry about. No IQ to find those either. So Kingrills, and not just Kingrills either, you know, there's been plenty of beautiful C4 plays from a lot of the Big Dogz members. So he'll be able to help set them up. They've got 4 in this round. So Prolific better watch their feet.
Seen an interesting string of halves here, but Prolific, look at that. 5-man send through the basement. They're going to look to come straight up pantry. This is going to be a cheeky little rush. Mix is on the drone for the moment, but Pants is very much aware. The Astro hatch for 1, but he's traded out by Tracy. Levi finds the second. They're looking to do some big work. Equalizer, Pac-Man sprays down 2. Big damage and control of the diffuser. A 3 versus 2. And there's still over 2 minutes to play, but Levi's not done yet. We're back at 2-2. Big Dogz don't know what hit him.
Yeah, forget the clock. Prolific has decided this is going to be a quick one. Still just Levi and Mixes on the site, but they're looking for the frags. They've got diffuser close by, but I don't think it's safe enough to go for the plant. They're going to be instead looking for the frags. What do Big Dogz do is the question. Do they know the position of the diffuser? Drones now coming out to spot out their location, so Prolific have a slight advantage, but they still have to make the swing. And this is where the danger comes in, sees them down the hallway, but isn't quick enough. Tiltek adds another one to the scoreboard. And now just Mixes. He's got to make a 1v2 happen. 2 low health opponents, though, certainly possible.
I mean, combined, they're only half of what Mixes has, but in a game like Rainbow Six Siege, where headshots the decider in a lot of these matchups. You got to wonder just how much that health bar is going to count towards a side of Prolific. One big play away from securing themselves map point here on Villa. The first time we've seen them play it, Tiltec is close by here. There's huge amounts of times left for Mixers to find anything, any opening, any frag would definitely put this in real contention for that big win. Does he have the information he needs, though, to figure out where the player is? And the black eye cam gives away one. He's going to swing in the lounge. Can he find the frag? Tiltec stands up, finds it, and we are back equal 5-5. Tiltec with a hell of a debut match.
Oh, and pulling out the tactical pause here from Prolific. I'm not surprised to see this one coming up. Stop the other team's momentum, just freeze them for a little bit, give yourself a little window where you can talk over with each other about what you're doing here to pull out the win. They know they need to get it done during the attacking side because let's say they only pull out a small little, not even advantage, right? They pull out the 4-2, they're going to overtime. They could even lose it in the next 2 rounds, you know, it could just be a 7-5. So throw out the tack pause here, find out what's going on. But importantly, slow down a team who's probably popping off right now. Big Dogs are feeling pretty good.
I mean, 3 rounds in a row in the second half is not a bad way to come back to this position. It's got to be concerning, though. You got to wonder, on the side of Prolific, is this it? Have they done their dash? Have Big Dogs finally found their number? It's going to be interesting to see who wins this round. If they do lose, can Prolific push for that overtime situation, push themselves to that victory over that penultimate finish line almost? But there's a lot of questions that are being left unanswered. Prolific, they start very well, they just can't close it up. By all means, Mixers should have been able to find that. He should have been able to find the frag. Unfortunately, just didn't have the information, didn't have the angle, just didn't have what it took in that matchup to find the win.
Yeah, and it has had quite a few rounds that have come down to that. Like, small differences can make the entire round. I mean, like we've seen the 1v1s come down to right at the end of plenty of rounds. Tack pause and now over, so we can jump back into the match and see what Prolific have cooked up during that pause. Looking at the operators, it looks like nothing different there, even on the defense too. Big Dogs, I mean, things are working out for them right now. I quite like the Pants and Boff combo on the SAS as well. Maybe not so much in the last round where they got eliminated straight away, but it's had some brilliant value in the previous rounds too.
Well, Tiltec, I mean, look, speaking of value, the man is nothing but, he's 12-1-6, so he's sporting a 2.0 KD. And he's not done yet. He's going to look for even more. He's just been instrumental. The kills that he's finding, all 12 of those have been priority impact kills.
The man having a real good debut, but can he make it a win for his team? Can he make it the best of 3 victory? I mean, we're only 1 map in here, and this one's going right down to the wire. To win the first match without overtime, though, would be a big statement to make. Because winning in overtime, I mean, it just gives you that slight little advantage. But, I mean, it could tilt the other losing team a little bit more. Well, I guess we'll have to find out. But I'm sure Big Dogs would love to just pick up the next 2 round wins. They've got some decent sites to do it on too. But this man right here is who we should be watching quite often throughout this round. Tiltec has made some magical plays. He's playing the Malusi as well. Like you said, so much you can do with this operator. Boff, oh man, I mean, good luck on that one. But if it did work out, again, this is how you win rounds in the last few ones. Tilt them with the spawn peaks.
Yeah, I mean, if it was any team to go for it 100%, it's going to be the Big Dogs. Like I said, the team motto, confidence is key here in this matchup. And well, at 5-5, they've been able to bring it back from a 4-2 deficit. They're looking good to maybe even push over the finish line and take the map away themselves. Mixers has pushed up pantry stairs, Claymore down to provide some coverage on that flank. Live droning coming through for the rest of the team as well. Want to give them that information, want to be able to push on, get themselves map points secured here, because if they can take that, they can look to push it over the finish line. But for the moment, Big Dogs, they're making them work for it.
Yeah, I mean, for now, Prolific seem to be just trying to catch out Big Dogs at their own traps. You know, looking through their own holes in the floor, trying to catch out anyone, trying to look for a freebie kill instead. But now they're starting to work on the side a little bit, get some of that self-destruction underneath them so they can force out some danger. No buck, but of course, Zofia is able to do it. And, you know, frags from Sledge are also an option too. A few more explosions are now coming out, but this time it's from the Ash. Levi actually just trying to force another defender out a little bit as well. We're not quite seeing those C4s just yet. Only one of them is actually being used by Boff.
Tilteki's playing this position again, looking to float around that first floor, deny any chance of a take upstairs. A lot of off-site presence, you can see. A lot of blue outlines downstairs. Looking to cut off the route, looking to catch themselves. And yeah, it's a big portion of the... Well, it's a big reason as to why a lot of these attacking sides are failing for OCL teams. Drone spotted, King Grill's going to shoot it out. Significant lack of information going to be available going into the dying moments of the round. 50 seconds left. Nitro Cell prepped and ready onto that Astro window. That could be a huge loss for Prolific.
Yeah, it's going to go for a bit of an early throw on that one. Still 40 seconds left. King Grill's challenging across Astro as well, but the first death is actually going to be to Tracy, as Pants will take that one. And now they have a slight little lead here in the final moments. As Prolific, they're trying to make do with what they have left on the clock. Levi gets one back here. But Boff on the stairs, sorry, Pants on the stairs as well will fall. A storm onto the side by Nova. Gets a bunch of frags, but no one has dealt with King Grills, and he's able to run all the way back downstairs. But Prolific, this should give them the sight. Do they go for the plant? 5 seconds left, and they've got to know. It's just Nova. He's waiting for King Grills to sprint up. Is this one going to connect? It will very likely make it in just now. Nova from downtown. He's got no teammates left. How is he confirmed?
How has he pulled this off again? Playing the same plant position, does get it down. King Grill's left in a 1v1. No information. Oh, spotted. Nova, does he know? Just above their head, somehow escapes with just a haircut. Flash grenade goes in the rotate into Master Bathroom. He's playing the clock just like King did against Tracy. It's all coming apart here for the big dogs on the hunt with the P10 Roni in hand, swinging ADS. Nova is just playing the time game, but he kills them anyway. Prolific just charge onto map point.
I swear, man, I could hear the Benny Hill theme playing in my head during that whole segment. What a Houdini. What an absolute escape artist. And not even escape, he gets the kill at the end too. Just absolutely ninja'd it out of there as soon as he planted it down, with barely a split second to go as well as the shots came out. Oh man, I mean, we're speaking about tilting rounds.
That's not even the worst part. That's the second time Nova's done it.
Yeah, I mean,
second time he's pulled off that plant spot. Second time he's pulled off the win because of it. Yeah, look, the big dogs, they're going to need to play the mental game. They're going to need to bounce back. And you've got to wonder, after losing out a round like that, do you just straight look to map number 2? Because that's going to be crippling to the mental.
I mean, crippling to the mental, sure, but any team who's at this stage of competitive should know that rounds like that are going to happen. And when you're this close to still taking the match, remember, those overtime points don't matter anymore. So winning in overtime or not doesn't matter. So as long as big dogs can still make it there, yeah, they've got a little bit more work to do, but this jig is certainly not up quite yet. But Prolific, particularly Nova, I mean, these guys have got to be on cloud 9 right now. They've got to be really feeling it, and that's a dangerous thing to go against here when a team's on match point.
Look, I'm not sure if you want to be cloud 9. They got knocked out of 6 Invitational pretty early.
I'm talking about the real cloud 9.
Well, either way, they're in a pretty solid spot, and they're going to be stoked with how things are going so far. And they did say it's very much a case of anyone in this gauntlet can beat anyone. And they are proving that much for sure. Nova goes for a bit of a change up here. He's going to be bringing the 0 into the fold. Sam Fisher making his way through. Playing those flank cameras is so important. You can play them vertically as well through the floor, not to mention the layers that you have as well. Plus, it's extra utility you can use to clear out the Saria gates. Man's incredibly well-rounded.
Just chuck an Argus cam right into the Sharia gate. That will do the trick too. But I mean, you're right. Oh no, Boff's done it to him. Levi, this time it works, catches him on outside. How close was he actually to the door on that one? Can't quite see him in there, but regardless, an early kill. But Pac-Man is traded back, but Boff, he does it again and gets Fluxus, revenges Pac-Man.
Well, it's not insurmountable here for Prolific, that much is for sure, but it is going to make it that much harder, obviously. Playing from a man down, losing out Levi and Fluxus as well. I mean, I suppose it makes it easier for the in-game leader. You just got to sit back, watch cams, and communicate and tell your team what to do. 4 players remaining, though. Tracy could catch something out in the vertical angle, playing from that split balcony position, but they need to get into the right spots. They need to get that information. They need to find another frag at the very least to blow things wide open. unfortunately for them, the three of the remaining players are Tiltek, Boff, and Pants, who just really have been going nuts this match.
Yeah, scary people to go against when you're the team at man disadvantage. Luckily, they do have a fair amount of time to make this work, but as we can see, the map control really not in their favor. They're only just making it through the other upstairs site here, trophy statuary, and they're only just making it there. Now the next challenge is going to be here around 90 and the top of the stairs. Sharia gates abound too, so Big Dogz, they've got a big little fortress set up. They're big fortress, nice to set up. Tracy is going to have to rotate around to get the value out of this.
Boff was standing right on the study window. It was pixeled, like 100%, all that was separated them from unfortunate death. And concussion goes in, the swing unfortunately mixes. Is going to be the one to fall. Nova still alive, just bring it back here with an SC3000, but he's dead. Well, down but not out. Close enough, might as well be in this situation. And with Tracy the remainder, we are looking like we might be heading to OT. Boff spotted, he's just going to win it. Tracy, he escaped death momentarily, but not long enough. OT coming through for the first time in the gauntlet.
Yeah, first map, why not get right into it? I mean, we've said that these matches are going to be pretty close. This first one, Big Dogz and Prolific, it was always going to be one of the closer ones too, so I'm not surprised in the slightest to see us go to overtime on Villa. Who's going to get the defense first? It's going to be Big Dogz, so they get to keep that ball rolling. But Prolific, can they keep this attack rolling? Because they've had some very entertaining rounds, that's for sure. Sneaking a few away where perhaps maybe they shouldn't, but you still have to respect some of those rounds coming out for them. But Big Dogz, here is where it matters. They've got to get the deeds done. 2 rounds of defense if they can pull it off.
Well, I mean, so far it's been a 4-2 split both ways. Both of them being defender-sided, as you would expect for Villa, so nothing crazy. But their defense has been rather solid. They have been undefeated in their defensive aviator games, which has to be concerning for Prolific.
Yeah, again, not the sort of thing you want to go into in the first round of overtime. Prolific are also, you know, the one that has had the longest since they've won a round, so it hasn't been that long, I suppose. However, still on the attack, it does make it a little awkward, and they're the team that does have to win at least one attacking round in overtime, so going to be pretty rough on that one. A little bit of ring around the rosy trying to get the drones, but Boff will finally get that one done. This is certainly going to be the round to do it in as well, opening up the entire site to just all the same prep that we've seen. We've seen the site plenty of times with these operators, attacked by these operators too. Prolific, oh man, it's time to get it done here in overtime.
It's going to be a tall task, that much is for certain though, especially with Tiltek. Absolutely heated up and ready to go in this match. He's looking for more. He's not going to slow down. Probably going to be one of the top fraggers at the end of this best of 3. Wouldn't be surprised even if he does go for that full 50 by the end of it. The guy is just a straight gunner.
Okay, inside now, Boff still getting droned out here on the stairs now. Has a Banshee to back him up if he needs to fall back away, but this should be the first challenge. If you can get even more drones, that's going to be some decent value. They want to be killing as many as they can. They've only got a mute, not a mozzie this time, so every drone kill going to matter quite a lot. But the first steps now, moving up to challenge Boff here on the stairs. Mix is going to fall back a little bit, actually get a bit of a different angle, so he's going to hold that one a little bit longer. No real progress made so far, except for downstairs if you're Prolific. But we do have a cheeky little man hanging out down there in the basement. They're going to watch out for him.
2-man holder towards the red stairs, but that's not where the priority is for Prolific. They're looking to open up those vertical angles. Tiltek does have support on the landing above him, but for the moment, they're not going to need it just yet. He's playing for the headshots, playing for those tight angles, and just spotted a pixel as it ducked through a doorway. Close, but not quite for Tiltek. He's looking for more. What can he find? Boff looking to recontest some of the vertical angles that are being opened up. The floor is not very safe right now for the Big Dogz.
Yeah, Pants is going to have to watch his feet for sure, but he's got plenty of things to vault up onto if he does need to. Tiltek, the man we've been watching, finally his patience doesn't pay off. Fluxu's taken out. That's the buck. They certainly wanted to do that. Hopefully they got most of their soft floor openings because they won't have the opportunity to do too much more with that man eliminated. Nice little advantage. They still need to hunt down Tiltek.
Yeah, just a pixel, just a full hit. That's all you needed. They lose the IGL, unfortunately, side of Prolific, with 55 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to accelerate their plans to get into the site for the moment. Levi still looking on the vertical, but Tiltek still holding around red stairs, looking to get himself up and still do some more damage. Levi going to be tagged. That's the clue and that Tiltek needs to start moving on the hunt. He's going to go for the swing. The pre-fires are there, but it's just a second too late. Straight through Piano. Going to pinch in from behind Arstudio. He might even be able to find two here. Swings out towards main lobby. Finds it first. That's Nova to fall. But Levi says, nah, I'm not having any of that. Just gets himself out. Mixes, falls to Pac-Man down under. Tracy on the balcony. No chance. No hope. And it's down to Levi with a point of health, a dream, and a G36. At this point, you just play the clock, you talk to the team, and figure out what to do on your defense side.
Yeah, this is where you get the free tactical pause. You know, you just hang out and discuss, guys, what happened to let Big Dogz just get a flawless round on us in overtime. We've got to work it out, but before they even get a chance to work out their attack, they swap over onto the defense. But man, Tiltek just got left alone to do as he pleases. And man, it got a ton of value.
As much as Prolific talked about, it seems that maybe that curse of the attacker side of things still hasn't been dropped or lifted yet. They wanted to fix those mistakes, fix those errors that they've been making through the round robin. Still a very defender-sided affair here on Villa. 2-4 attacker side for both teams. That's rough.
Big Dogz, I mean, they could get it done here now before even going to the second round of defense. They've got a little buff around, but for Prolific, this one's must win. This defense must go nice and flawlessly. Heading to AVG, I'm sure they'll be happy with that one. The 6-pick over onto the Valkyrie as well. If you're going to do 6 picks and make shenanigans out of it, may as well do it here in overtime. And so you got to wonder, yeah, is it going to be a Clash? Is it going to be a Valkyrie? But they won't have the IQ to counter out any black eye cameras. So Mixers can get real creative with that. We've seen them do it way back in the first half. So it could be the value plays that they're looking for. But like I said, this one has to work out for Prolific.
See a bit of a change for King Grills. No Zofia this time. It's going to be the Iana instead. So doubling down the frag grenades, it would seem, not to mention the powerhouse Gemini replicator. Free drone, free information. Well, somewhat risky yourself. I've seen it go wrong a couple of times where you go jump into your clone and then someone jumps out a window and kills you. So it's a double-edged sword in a lot of these situations. For the moment though, Prolific, they've got one more round to extend this map. Otherwise we head straight into our next. It's not a situation you really want to be facing up, especially given that it is Oregon.
Yeah, that could be a dangerous one too. That one would be Prolific's pick as well. But Big Dogz here on Villa, the map that they picked, one round away from taking it against Prolific. A must-win round for the boys in orange. In the first battle here, Mixers has pushed up forward after eliminating a drone, so they know that he's there, and they challenge him here behind a statue. The hologram is going to give away his position, but he can quickly rotate back away and get out of trouble, and now has reinforcements with Levi backing him up. This is going to be tough for Big Dogz to crack.
Especially with Tiltek, is going to be on the hunt, on the ash yet again. Not quite the strongest play that he did have on the operator, but the man has come out swinging in the defensive half. Might be able to find even more. Hell, if it does go to another round after this, he might even get his 20. So far, 2 minutes left on the clock. Very tense lines being drawn in the sand. No over eagerness to go for these gunfights, and the drone play is going to be so pivotal. He's
still worried about Mixers and Levi, but they're long gone. So Tiltek, I mean, he does eventually take control of the region, of the room with the rest of his team. But as you can see, they're still heavily on flank watch. Tiltek even dropping down just to make sure, perhaps even going for a big rotate himself, looking for whoever on Prolific is looking to roam around. But it's just going to be a big old rotate, making sure no one's downstairs. The first C4 comes out, and Fluxus gets boff with it, but at the same time, Tiltek found Levi, so it ends up being an even trade here. But Prolific, they've lost their Jaeger. They still have a few members sneaking around.
I mean, that's already efficiency with the Nitro Cell. They've got the Gon 6 here for King Grills to open up that shield in towards Aviator as well, but it's about clearing up that utility that Levi had already placed down. Oh, Nitro Cell toss. The Gon 6 does connect with that Vulcan shield. So they have at least one avenue into the site, and Tiltek is still on the roam, still on the hunt, still looking for information, looking to destroy some of that soft floor and pressure onto these players sitting in the site for the moment. Looking for that opening. Ooh, okay, King Grills, that was not the right way. Luckily, just not being punished by that frag grenade whatsoever. The second one is the charm, goes straight into Vault. looking to clear things out so they can open up that vault wall. And there we go, the ping's coming out in the confirmation. Pac-Man rotating in so he can get the job done, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, this could be tense.
Yeah, they've got to make the rush now, and it's got to happen perfectly. Time for the execute, Big Dogz, without the Nomad, and we're just waiting for angles here. King Grill's actually poking his head up first to see if he can find those frags, but defensive plays coming out from Prolific. They want Big Dogz to come in, and well, King Grills will do exactly that, but it's straight into their trap as Prolific eat him up. And just for breakfast, Mixers gets a teammate and an enemy as well. It's a buffet.
And it is double OT confirmed here. Both teams have been almost unstoppable on the defense. Going into round 15, Big Dogz have that advantage working for them. Both teams just, I mean, overwhelming is probably the best way to describe it. Now Prolific, they need to be overwhelming on the attack.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers and you just have to say Big Dogz, like you said, they've got the advantage being on the defense. Prolific, a lot of their attacking rounds as well were almost snuck away by just little ninja plays near the end of the round. So can you rely on that? I don't know. Monty is another operator that they haven't played all games, so I don't see that one sticking through. Jackal, just like before, is going to be swapped off onto. This is going to be just another round like before, but Prolific are looking to make the execute actually work.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
Round
bombs as they can.
15, the full distance here on map number 1 of the Oceanic Challenger League Stage 1 playoff gauntlet. No surprises whatsoever. Tiltec, the man himself, in his debut match, 2 frags away from his 20 bomb. But it's a question of, is it going to be Big Dogz to win it? Is it going to be Prolific? Because that advantage of a safety map going into the rest of this best of 3 is going to give them no end of peace of mind.
And you never want to be the team going into map number 2 after losing in overtime in round 15. It feels like utter garbage. So whoever wins here is going to just go in with a huge mental boost as well as that safety map. So big round here, Big Dogz, advantage as they're on the defense here. The numbers have certainly shown that they prefer this one. A little bit split up here as they have a few little roaming squads, some duos working together. Tiltec has been playing out of his mind here in his first Challenger League match and certainly helped Big Dogz make it to this point. If Prolific can eliminate him early, maybe that's their window in.
Well, he's got to be one of the priorities here in this matchup, not to mention the off-site presence of King Grills running around with that P10 Roni. A lot of targets in this lineup for the Big Dogz. First 40 seconds, only a little bit of damage going on to Tracy, the only real casualty. But look at this, the crossfire set up. Pac-Man and Tiltec gearing up to hold down and hold fast onto the study door. Enoch's eye does go out and finds one, but Tiltec is playing off the angle. If they could find the Jackal pick early, that would be huge. Hell, if they could find the Ace pick early, that would be huge as well. Given that it's a trophy site. Oh, that's a drone swinging onto the player and repel. But Flux wins it anyway. He's going to be able to take down. Ooh, no, okay, he's not. He's just missed out on the opportunity. But surely there's a frag grenade there. Boff watching. Is he going to be able to keep his teammate alive? No. Goodbye, Tiltec. The big resistance man himself gone, and that could be the trigger to open the floodgates for Prolific.
Yeah, Flux will have to be a bit careful with that much health, but that's Tiltec down. Beautiful one, and that could have absolutely gone the other way. We saw how close it was. Levi now getting his footsteps, finding the feetsies, and seeing it's just someone on site, so he's going to be okay with that. Prolific, oh man, tense. They spent a lot of time to get that done as well. The call was made to retreat by Big Dogz as they had run down that clock. So Prolific now got to crack down this fortress on site. They've still got the smoke. Plenty of toxic babes. A strong one to have here on Statuary. Can definitely hold them off for the longest time. No Vulcan shields to get through though, so Prolific don't have to worry too much about that. But they got to get through Pac-Man if they want to make it through this side.
50-second mark just being hit here. This is all but done and dusted here in the first match. Aside from 9 players left alive and looking for frags. For the moment, Big Dogz, they still have that advantage of the clock. They can look to run down time and play off at the back of that. But Prolific, you can hear them. They're mounted. They're ready to go. They are about to explode out here onto the site. King was playing in master, playing the prone angle, looking for anything cheeky that he can find. And is going to take a bit of damage, but it's Tracy who finds the first. Bot falls, so does Tracy. A quick trade coming out of Kingrels, playing that master position with the P10 Roni. 4 versus 3. Pants still delaying time with a toxic canister. Pac-Man sitting well and truly entrenched here. And Trophy finds the kill on the mixers. It's a 3v3. Finds the second one, but there's one behind. Levi has to go huge here. Can they find anything? The plant is going to be going down. Levi on the job. Pants finds the kill on the Flux. It's a 1v2. And we could see it go down to the plant. Air jab locks down the rotate. Pants goes for the shot. Levi finds one, but Kingrels is there. The air jab not enough. And the defuse will come out. Big Dogz just eke out the win in double OT on Villa. Tiltek with a hell of a showing on his debut match.
Mission successful.
Are you freaking kidding me? Going right down to one man left alive here in the final round of overtime. I could not have it any other way. What a close little match between these two teams. And that is just map 1. That is just Villa. We get to see these teams go at it against each other at least one more time, possibly all 3 maps the way things are going. Oh man, and like I said, you never want to be the team going down in round 15 of overtime in a best 3. Definitely not like that.
Well, I mean, look, you can understand why Prolific have banned out Villa every single week so far.
But they came close.
They came close, but it's obviously a map they're not feeling overly comfortable on. That puts Big Dogz 2-0 on the map for the stage.
Well, it's certainly working out pretty well for them. Close or not, they get it done in overtime and taking map number 1. And now on series point, coming up after the break, we're going to go to the opponent's map pick. Prolific are going to be taking us to Oregon.
Just $40 a month for endless data. Get endless data for just $40 on our small pay monthly mobile plan. It's data that never runs out. Go you!
I just time traveled. Today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Wow. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya.
Oh, it's still in the garage.
Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
Welcome back, everyone, to the gauntlet of Stage 1 for the OCL for Rainbow Six Siege. My name is Matt Smite-Ross. Blue Pandatron is here with me today. Very lovely to have you up here in Auckland, by the way. Very happy for you to come up. But, man, what a game 1. Big Dogz taking it out in round 15.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a hard-fought road throughout. Look, basic stats off the board. 9 of 6 entry gunfights went the way of Prolific, and Big Dogz were still able to pull the win out of the bag. Some big rounds on both sides. The Nova, a couple of massive clutch ups there on both sides of the coin. Prolific, that's a lot for Big Dogz to think about in this break.
Yeah, a lot for Prolific as well, you know, thinking about how some of those rounds game are so close, but we do get to move on to map 2. Before we move on, guys, quick little announcement regarding the OCL is that we do indeed have a spot opening up for stage 2. And so for that, we're having an open qualifier. That's coming up next weekend on the 5th and 6th of June. That's not tomorrow, that's the next weekend. And you guys can compete for that. But one thing you got to make sure is that you're all over 18 to compete. So once you've made sure that you're all an adult, then make sure you go and test your luck at the qualifier to see if you can make it up there as well. But that's next weekend, 5th and 6th of June. So, map number 2, it's going to be Oregon. This one, you know, if you look at the numbers, should be a little bit better if you're Prolific.
Yeah, look, it's again a case of we've seen a bit of it, not a huge amount. Again, a case of Prolific. They're 1-1 on the map so far. Big Dogz 1-0. So we've seen a little bit of it. It was more the case earlier on. Prolific, they were able to beat up Pride on that map 7-5, and Pride, they've had a bit of a tumultuous season. They lost to Swingsman though 8-6, which has to be a bit of a cause of concern. The Big Dogz, their match was also against the Swingsman, but that was a 7-1.
That was a bit different, a little bit different. And yeah, Big Dogz, when they did win during the season, they tended to win pretty hard, and so 7-1s like that should be no surprise. But I mean, like, on the individual level as well for these players, it does come down to that quite a lot as well. Tiltek today, I mean, him alone has had such a great performance.
I mean, he's always been such a solid performer. He just hasn't been able to find himself a team to represent himself. And obviously, new OCL competition here. The team that he was playing for didn't quite make it through the qualifiers. This time round, though, playing for the Big Dogz. Look, hey, replacing Shaq. Shaq who?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's some huge shoes to fill for the man to do. So, you know, Shaq, I mean, I was worried that he wasn't showing up tonight, but look, the performance has been there.
He's also cured the curse. Obviously, if you don't talk in all chat, you can't curse yourself. And, well, Tiltek has yet to do that.
We have to find a way to get Shaq into the server so he can, like, observe and then type in all chat. On the notion of individual plays, though, we do indeed have another little matchup to talk about while we're getting Oregon ready, is these two players, Pac-Man Down Under and Fluxus, the captains of each side.
Yeah, the two in-game leaders, the ones making the calls at the end of the day, both of them obviously had quite a tall task in their hands in that match. Going to the full 15, you need to dig deep in the side of the strat book. You need to be making those big calls at the end of the day. Both sporting a rating of 0.93 and 0.92 respectively. The big difference, though, does come in the cost. Fluxus has been a little bit more efficient, a little bit more effective on the whole this season.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, just literally what we saw on Villa, it comes down to those slight differences. One player alive making all the difference in one round, which makes all the difference in one map, which, as we might see, might make all the difference in the entire series. I'm keen to get into Oregon, Panda. I want to see what these players are bringing out because, remember, we've seen so much favor towards the defensive side, and Oregon, I mean, can be one of the most bunkered down maps in the game.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting matchup. Obviously, like I said, I talked to a couple of the guys before, you know, this week leading into things. They have, you know, Big Dogz haven't been able to scrim this week. Obviously, with Shaq out of order with his PC, the fact that Tiltek has come in off the back of that and still had the showing that he's had, phenomenal stuff. Despite the lack of experience in the last week, this is the lack of scrims. Big Dogz still able to pull that out. It's their lifestyle, Pac-Man did say. Pride ourselves on the little amount of work we put in and still pulling out the big results.
I mean, that is something to say, you know. Some of the best players in, not just Rainbow Six, but any game that has an esports scene, you know, some of the best players, just guys that love the game. And you can tell that's what Big Dogz really are, just as a whole team.
Yeah, not to disparage the boys. Obviously, Big Dogz, they just put in a massive effort on the day. Coming off the back of losing one of their key players, the linchpins of the squad, yeah, to put in an effort like that, you've got to commend them. As much as Prolific very nearly stole it away, it is a case, Big Dogz, they won their map. They did. They're going onto their opponent's map. Prolific,
well, they've got to do it here.
Yeah, they've got to do it here. Unfortunately, they lost to Swingsman on this map, while, I mean, Big Dogz, monster, doesn't even begin to describe it. 7-1 in the opening week.
Yeah, but I mean, we remember opening week, Big Dogz, they looked almost a completely different team a few weeks later, so that's a long time ago if we're talking about that match. But I mean, look, Big Dogz, like we said, they're comfortable here on Oregon, but it's Prolific is the team that has to make the difference here. They're the team that's a map down, so what are you doing after you've just dropped down in round 15 in a 1v1 in some very tilting rounds? What do you do to get the boys back together going into Oregon where you've got to win?
Well, I mean, look, I think it's on the shoulders of Flux, who is a phenomenal in-game leader, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's given the boys a bit of a rack up, giving them a bit of a chat, motivational speech to bring them back into this. But we're ready to go with the operator bands here on Oregon. Prolific kicking things off on the attack. Big Dogz, they're going to have that advantage of the defense.
Yep, going to be no surprises to see Thatcher banned. I mean, I can just say it and know that he's going to be the first ban to come out. Banned in pretty much everything, so no surprises to see him man out here in Oregon. The second ban is always the most interesting. Do they ban the Maverick? Big Dogz is a team that likes to play around with that sometimes, but Prolific, they like to make sure that all the normal options are usually still available. So perhaps something other than Maverick to be thrown out there, and it's going to be Capital.
Capital, it's an interesting one. It's not the most prioritized operator, but it's one that does play quite well on a number of maps in the competitive pool at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something like a Whammy ban being paired with it, given how, they're sort of two sides of the same coin. Remove him, give you that option to play around the frag grenades, but it's going to be a Kaid taken away here. Prolific taking out the breach denial in the side of the Big Dogz, and it is something that has been played very frequently when available.
Yeah, and like I was saying, you can bunk it down super easily here in Oregon, especially in the basement. So removing someone that can make vertical pressure that much harder to apply, then yeah, that makes sense. Clash is going to be the final ban here, and that's after seeing map number 1, not too surprising, but still does raise an eyebrow here in Oregon. Although Clash does have her own presence on this map too.
It was definitely a respect thing, targeting out mixers there who played it. You got to admit very well. Aside from the one bolo spin that we saw coming out of Mixers, who is struggling a little bit with ping here and there, but it does mean Mira has been let through. She's going to be making her way in the Spaniard. Does have a high ban rate. I think it was sitting around 55% for the round robin. Not quite as high as Thatcher, who was hovering 74 to 76%, give or take. But it's still one that, when you see it played through, can be very, very scary. 6-pick coming out, it might be a bit of a bait here from Boff, especially given we are seeing Meeting Hall coming in first.
Oh, Maestro. All right. Yeah, no, that's interesting, especially because, yeah, Meeting Hall and Kitchen first. That's also something that raised my eyebrow, but it actually ends up being a mute instead. But you're pretty happy to see a mute pop up here. I mean, an operator that pretty much every team composition was happy to have. But, yeah, I think this has got to be...
FO12, Ella coming out here for pants.
This is going to be the big difference. A completely wacky sight. The shotgun for Ella. I mean, what are we walking into here, Panda?
I mean, shotguns play very, very well on this map. The vertical angles. This is again, it's a site that plays similarly to a number of others in competition. You want to play the vertical angle. It's eerily similar to third floor on Cafe. You want to play it vertically. You want to hold above, deny the push in from the likes of Attic, anything like that. That's already what we're seeing, Pan. Opening up those vertical angles, you can play down through that kitchen door leading towards the stage hallway. And, well, you got the tools, the denial, whatever you should possibly need. It's going to be on Prolific as to how well they can undo it.
The interesting thing is going to be that there's no smoke as well, so that's also probably a reason for the Ella and the shotgun. But shield going to be dropped up in the attic, but no smoke to hold it. So it might be a little easier for Prolific to target that down, but then again, Capital ban also making the attic push a little bit harder too. So the first real battle is actually going to come through the big window. Fluxus is taking that to town a little bit, but just a little bit of damage sent over Pac-Man's way, nothing too dangerous.
Yeah, you want to get in, get that vertical control, and that's exactly why we see Big Dogz locking it down. TCSG in the hands of King Grills, but it's Boff to find the kill on the Mixers. Losing out on the Zofia early, playing around that main lobby door. In fact, it was a kill bottom white through the bottom white window. Levi to find the next is going to be the Whammy in the hands of Pac-Man playing prone in towards security. He decides probably not the best situation to go for. No, actually he doesn't. He says maybe I can find a cheeky kill on the King Grills on the Goyo upstairs.
Yeah, Levi, I mean, he's just sending it through all the different angles that people are challenging him on. Now Fluxus, who's also upstairs as well, is able to start putting the pressure down, but the TCSG in hand, King Grills will pick up his first frag here in Oregon. And what a beautiful little way to do it. Tiltec will fall though, as Prolific is going to trade back. Half the round now burned down as the top floor burns down, and the Lion roars. Now trying to bring Big Dogz out from their hiding spots. King Grills burning down the clock quite well. Eventually now hunted down. Can't quite get the finishing blow and will be sent down himself, but from below, it's going to be Pants.
They're on the hunt. Levi's found yet another one. Boff deterred from the kitchen doorway and towards dining. Does have a teammate, but it's just Pants. Finds a cheeky little nitro kill on his Tracy through the floor. Long range spray is going to tag up Nova. Nothing significant. FO 12 though, that's significant. Pants just whipping a little bit, pulls out the pistol instead. RG15 cheekiness. And Levi playing from above has to go huge here. 53 seconds left, so has time to play with, has the G36 and nothing breaching rounds to open up some of those vertical angles. Not the safest spot for that defuser to be in. We'll go for the drone instead. So plays it safe, sets himself up some flank watch. It says sit on the cams, let me do this. Oh, spots the shoulder of Boff, but it's a second too late to find the kill. We'll go to pick up the defuser, but Pants is there. It's the FO12, close range through the floor. Yeah, there was no chance.
What a weird round. So many shotguns being thrown around there. I'd love to see it, that's for sure. And the fact that King Grills was able to draw so much attention to himself up in the upstairs bedroom, over in the corner, getting the frags along with it too, getting sneaky frags too, sneaking up on people. I love to see it. So a big round to open up things with a Big Dogz, but an interesting one for sure. I mean, it'd be surprising to see them continue rounds like that. So going down to the basement, I expect things to return a little bit more to normal.
Look, normal is not something that we do here in the Oceanic region. We like to play it hard and fast and probably just a little bit loose, as we are going to see things ramp up going down here into basement. Boff going to stick with the mirror this time as the 6-bit comes in from Nova onto the Maverick instead. Still have yet to see Tiltec pick up the blitz, which is his, you know, that's what he is known for. The 6th pick, blitz pick, not going to come in just yet, but maybe we see it a little bit later.
Would have been fun to see it on Villa as well.
So those that don't know, in their open qualifier match, they were on map point, on the attack. Tiltec had been playing Ash up until that point, goes to the 6th pick onto the blitz, gets taken to OT by the Big Dogz, no less. They then go to final overtime, 15th round, and it comes down to a 1v1, which Shaq loses, ironically enough, for the Big Dogz to be taken to a 3rd map and eventually knocked down into the lower bracket. So, look, I'd rated Tiltec 6th pick, but I don't think we're going to see it.
I'd love to see it.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Soft. Never mind.
100%. I'm going to get a message from him after this matchup. Why'd you put me on blast on stream during the playoff gauntlet? But,
it's because we just want to see Blitz. Like, come on.
It's about the content at the end of the day. Speaking of content, King Grills again looking to aggress onto this main lobby double door, but for the moment, Prolific, they're not going to give them that avenue again. Pac-Man, again, just they're playing these pixel angles so very, very well. And if Prolific aren't turning it like they just did, if they aren't aware of those situations, they can be punished. And, oh, Pac-Man almost was certain he was going to be playing the bottom of that freezer stairs. You can play around the barricade, play the pixel below it, and it's a dangerous position.
They've forced him to retreat quite far back already. I mean, super early as well, so Prolific. They've got the freezer side now pretty solidly in control unless Pac-Man decides to go retake that. Levi will eventually work out that it's fairly safe to make his way down and contest through that angle. So some quick progress now being made by Prolific. Hatch is being worked on too by Nova. So yeah, quick work being done, but all that can be sent back if King Grills can find the C4 onto the captain, Fluxus.
It's not the biggest of losses on a site like this. There's only so much verticality you can achieve on this basement bomb site. So look, not the end of the world here. They're going to look to start opening up these hatches. Nova just doing a slow job of getting that freezer hatch. Tiltec down below. Could find himself in a bit of trouble very, very soon. Just on the other side of that reinforced wall, does have the angles to play around for them. I'm just going for the pre-fires, going to clear up those drones. It is an aggressive hold into that freezer door as well. Tracy rotating around in towards meaning they want to get all their avenues opened up and available.
Yep, that's going to be the last hatch opened up. So with over a minute left for the execute, this is making some pretty good time for Prolific. Everyone's going to be in position though. And importantly, not getting taken out from below. Nova's going to have a bit of pressure to go down, but we'll have to watch his own feet from there. We're waiting for Levi to make his way downstairs as well, but once everyone is set up, we're going to be able to go on in. Levi now starting to make those swings. Elbow also now cleared out. Pac-Man's going to be the battle here in blue, but should be flanked here by the Zofia on stairs. And Mixes should be able to pick up a kill there, but he himself has been sandwiched through the wall nonetheless by Boff grabbing that one. Pac-Man a little bit more freedom to take this battle here in blue in the bunker. But he still has someone to watch on stairs and will lose that battle. Tracy takes that one down, makes it a happy birthday as well.
Yeah, look, no right to win that fight in the middle of a reload animation. Toxicanus is going to dish out some damage, but not enough to take Tracy down. Back into 3v3, 12 seconds left. Kangaroos looks the long range angle towards Pillar with that TCSG 2 times. Tiltek going to be tagged. Pants desperately trying to hold on. Tiltek does find the kill on a Nova, but Tilt and Pants are so low. Levi for one. Can he find a second? No, Levi falls. Tracy on the plant and a 2v1, but it's default. It's found. Tiltek gets the kill, and Big Dogz will string together a second.
Oh, man, and just like Villa, you know, we're getting these rounds that really start coming down to the wire, really close ones there. Prolific, I mean, look, they made tons of really good time getting down to that position, but Big Dogz in the final battle seem to really come out on top there. Just getting a few of the battles won. I mean, particularly Pac-Man, you know, it looked like he was done for, sandwiched in a little bit, but everyone's got their back on Big Dogz, so able to at least keep the numbers advantage there, and that makes the difference at the end. So Prolific still in a big donut, looking for their first round win.
Oh, Tiltek, I know exactly what this is going to be. This is not the MP5 dock.
What dock is this going to be?
He is not known for his MP5 dock. It is the CQB shotgun that he is known for playing. I guarantee you he's going to be playing around the trophy door. They pulled this out. Team Helios, I think I saw it, Cheeky. I might have switched off there just a little bit too early. But this is something that they played. Team Helios, which is the team that he was playing for in the qualifiers, they played Oregon against the Big Dogz. Round 3, they were down. They pulled up 5 shotguns across the board. Absolutely monstered the Big Dogz. Pushed them all the way to map point. I think they were 6-3 at one stage, which is then obviously when the Blitz 6 pick came in and they went to overtime. But look, hey, he does big work with this operator.
Bringing these strats to the team as well. Hey, Big Dogz, remember this? Let's do it. But an interesting round again. I mean, you gotta love the Big Dogz style. You know, whether they win or lose, they're such an entertaining team to watch. So very big respect from me coming out to these guys. 2 rounds up already, so it's certainly working. But Tiltek, what kind of magic are we gonna see from this man? You
there it is, there it is. Shotgun. Look, the man plays the tight angles. He plays it well. Not to mention he's brought the stim pistol, obviously, given that it is a dock. I'm expecting some... Oh, look, this is just pure aggression. You can't open the wall if it's shooting back at you. And surprise, surprise, Tiltek's going to be the man on the job. If they can get a drone deep, though, oh, look at that. Look at the spread. This is insane. Boff playing down in meeting room. Spotted by a drone. Levi is going to catch him on the drop. Looks the wrong way. It's a gunfight that Boff wins. Levi, come on, man. You got to win those.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that he could hear the audio cue from the drop, but the positioning around the pillar was just a little awkward for it. Mixes, I mean, he knows someone's down there, won't hunt them down, will just instead lock them down there with the Claymore, or at least force them to rotate elsewhere. 1 man down already for Prolific. Things are looking pretty grim. And we even throw in runouts into the order as well, as they've got to deal with that message popping up. Sneaking up onto the site, actually. We had Mixes inching closer and closer, but Tiltek's still above, and even from there, he can do some damage with that shotgun.
Speaking of shotgun, Fluxus again opening up the verticality in the kitchen, trying to present some sort of angle to capitalize on, but Kingrel's rotating in through meeting, might just be able to find an angle, rotate around towards kitchen even. Tiltek's still looking for the play. Pistol out, opens up the window, gives them that opportunity for sound propagation, but Boff is going to fall to Fluxus again through the vertical angles, just caught in the middle of dorms. Toxic Canister is going to be used here to deter Tracy on the double window, but it's utility that is being drained nice and early on. Concussion goes deep in towards small dorms. Tiltek pull back. You can see the 4 remaining players close in by this bomb site. Kingrel's below, but he's going to be rotating back up through Armory stairs. This is about to explode.
Oh, Pac-Man, I mean, he's dancing with fire, with foes all around and below him. Now being droned out, he's going to have to book it to make sure no one gets his feet. Still manages to stay alive, just trying to run the clock down a little bit more. Still a few toxic canisters left for Pants to buy a bit more time. And we're just about there for the Big Dogz to make it a 3-0. 1 man down, Prolific. Still going into the 4v4, and now the call has been made to go on in. Pac-Man falls down, is down, but not quite out just yet. And Tiltic has the stim to get him back up into the fight. 30 seconds left, and Prolific makes the next push. Tracy will get Tiltic, and Pac-Man falls through the floor as well. King Grill's now pushing straight onto the site, looking to challenge the stairs and the big window. A lot of angles to worry about. Pants as well. C4 still in hand for King Grill. He can make some magic happen. Gets one. Still needs a few more, catches a cop, a few on the side there, and actually gets the kill. Pants will fall, doesn't get the kill instead, actually. Low health member, Plant going down.
Could look to do it, swings in. Oh, the Plant is secured at the last second. Somehow, Tracy just holds on. Now it's a 1v2, 1v1. Luckily, they can play for the vertical trades. Fluxus down below. And they will get themselves a round on the board, but it was fractions of a second that separated success from disaster there for Prolific.
How do they keep getting away with that? How do they keep just barely getting the Plant down, or just barely getting away from it alive? Prolific, I mean, they must have made some sort of deal with the devil, but that said though, most of that round they did earn that win. They got into a solid position, got a little iffy on the time, but that's okay if you can pull off something like that. So Big Dogs, they don't quite get that 3-0, but they do get to retry the site. So I think they're pretty happy to retry Kids Dorms as a fairly comfortable site for a lot of teams.
No Doc this time, and no Mirror either. It's going to be mute instead for Mr. Boff, looking to try and deny some of that breach, and a Rooney pair as well to try and protect that double windows just a little bit more. Going into this round, that's a little bit of a cause for concern. Dorms is usually the bomb site that most defending teams win. Usually it's basement that has the best shot at going down to an attacking site. And if, well, Prolific are able to pull something off like that again, we could see them quite easily equalize the score.
Yeah, and you know, Prolific in the interview themselves said that the attacking side is where a lot of teams, not just themselves, but almost all teams do need to work on. So this is the half that they need to make the magic happen in. They need to win rounds like that on Kids Dorms nonetheless as well. So more of that, and we're looking pretty good for Prolific. Pac-Man, a little bit cheeky on the drone hunt, and we'll get a little bit of value for that one. Always real good, but Boff, I mean, we're not seeing any Docs with shotguns or anything this round, but we still have a little bit of nonsense coming from the Big Dogs.
I mean, Oregon has admitted that spawn peaks are quite viable here, even if it is the game's room spawn peak. Not going to find much of it just yet, as they have opted to just go straight into Masters. Boom, you know, Buffy's just going to sit there while Pants opens the rotate next to his head.
I don't care how viable they are. They always feel bad. They always feel like nonsense when I get spawn killed, but no one's going to be dying immediately at the beginning of this round. No one walks into his sight lines, and so quickly, we're still killing drones actually. Big Dogs are catching quite a lot. And there's I mean, a handful of drones still left for Prolific. We're still in early times, but yeah, no, there's been quite a lot of damage done. Though they do know that Pac-Man is down there, but that was quite some time ago. Another one to talk about is going to be King Grills here, who's just waiting for his moment to catch someone on the entry. But actually, the frag grenade catches Boff.
Yeah, Flux has been pretty crisp with those frag grenades this stage, so not surprising that he's going to be the one to open things up here. And yeah, look, Boff, yeah, have to pay respect where respect is due.
Man, I want to see what, I wish we knew what happened there. Boff's throwing out a well played on it, but yeah, it looked like a real good one. Just nicely placed and easily picks up a freebie, but still a few more steps to go. Toxic Canisters now coming out. Pans has been pushed all the way back to site. We can still get some value done with the Toxic Canisters, but pretty early for the smoke to be throwing them out. Tiltek as well. He's going to come from behind. This is the game-winning play, the round-winning play as he's arrived. King Grill's also grabbing a kill in the meanwhile. Big Dogs looking pretty good here in the round.
They looked pretty good in the last round as well. It didn't go their way in the end. Nothing is guaranteed in Siege until the round itself is over. Tiltek, you've got to admit, Big Dogs do have pretty solid positioning. They've got some great control over this bomb site so far. King Grill's playing tucked into the main dorms area behind the bunks. shoots the dead body, but it's going to be a swing in from Tracy, back into walk, and they're not going to overcommit just yet, but the information is there. They know exactly where these defenders are coming from.
Oh man, look at how often he is swinging and peeking. Tiltek as well gets Tracy. Pac-Man eventually rewarded for them, finds Levi, and a third all rounded out here for the big dogs to make their own third in the rounds.
Not a bad half so far for the big dogs, but I mean, obviously in Villa they did go down 4-2. So, I mean, even a 4-2 trade on Oregon wouldn't be the worst situation for Prolific. If they can equalise, obviously that'd be great too, but at the moment, it's still anyone's guess how this one could round out. Big Dogs, though, 4 rounds away from closing out this series and progressing on to Verse Fury in the bracket.
Yeah, that's the other thing we got to remember is that Prolific are still a whole map down. Big Dogs getting closer and closer to just winning the series outright. Prolific still needing to win a whole map after this. And they're 2 rounds down. The one round that they did win could have easily been snatched away from them too. So something certainly has to change. And you got to imagine as well, it's got to be crumbling a bit too because they've just lost that first map in such close fashion too. Mentally, they have to hold themselves together because Big Dogs, you've got to know, they're a team that once they get closer and closer to that victory and they know they've got a little room to play with, they'll start toying with your emotions as well.
Well, they toy pretty well. Basement and bottom site, pretty much the same setup, in fact almost identical that we saw last time around that it was played. Obviously, second round, they did take it pretty cleanly. King picked things off with a big kill into Flux. There's a little bit of an inkling in the back of my mind. Prolific, they've talked about, you know, shoring up those holes, bolstering those weaknesses that they've had, but there's still these little mistakes that they keep making that allow Big Dogs to take these round wins. So they've got 2 rounds left in the half. You've got to hope they can change those up on the fly.
Yeah, you got to say this is perhaps where it has to begin. No more chances really after this, otherwise it's going to be a massive uphill battle. So Prolific attacking basement, they got to make it work. Pac-Man now extending himself a little bit further, but a few members here heading straight downstairs, and that should be where Big Dogs are going to have to keep their eyes straight away. Down on the tower stairs as well, all being droned out. Now they'll know Tiltek is hanging around, and they should know that they forced him back down, but he's going to be hanging around waiting for a few more drones.
I mean, Tiltek, he might back down, but he's not going to back down too far. Frag grenade potentially going to be a real threat in the Tilt. He could have gone for the Nitro Cell, decides better of it for the moment. Plays around top, looks for those long-range gunshots with the MP5. Levi is playing towards that T1 landing. Going to maybe look to aggress in, but it's the drone game that they need to prioritise here. Catch out anyone on the flank, open up those hatches, get themselves the guaranteed entry or openings into the site, and there we go. Nova's going to be starting things off in meeting, looking to open those up, but boff. If they can just spot an angle, that's all they'd need. That'd be a huge kill. Nova has to be careful. If they get a little bit over eager, he could accidentally drop down into E-Box, and look at that Pac-Man, look at a reaggress. That's Nova is very lucky.
You got a bit more freedom than you used to as the Maverick. You just with the health bar system on the hatches now, you can sort of burn them wherever you want, but yeah, I mean, it's close to catching Mirror out. Like, let's be real. If he had just moved on that, but Big Dogs are onto it too. So, battle at the stairs. Tiltek is going to be the one to challenge it this time, and you, Black Mirror, are going to be popped up, going to have perfect little opportunity to kill anyone that pokes their head out here at the top of the stairs, and they should have heard that it's gone out, so Prolific will be a little cautious. Still so much to deal with as Prolific. Elbow bunker is still there. This now new Black Mirror that Bob's holding, also they've got to deal with that. And Tiltek, I assume that was someone in the bunker getting shot outside.
Well, Tiltek down, it's going to provide its own problems here, but the diffuser down. They are just going to pick it up, figure out where they want to go. Kingril's rotating back in towards that freezer door, setting up the crossfires, playing for that dying moment in the round. They still haven't dealt with the elbow player. They're still on the utility. Where might Magnet? Oh, 2 quick taps to the top of the head. Mixes is the one to fall as equalizer. Frag grenade. Goodbye, Pants. Just cooked, dried, and left. And yeah, Pac-Man is just going to reinforce and say, we'll just pretend it didn't happen.
But this is where the storm's coming in. Prolific are quick to move onto the site. They push Pac-Man all the way back to the rotate. King Grill's still in the same position, can still hold them off on any kind of entry, but he's got to watch out for himself now that he's a few members are down. Him and Pac-Man have a tough job here. Prolific close to getting that plant down, but block super close. They need to make the move now. So King Grills, is he going to deny it with the Nitro Cell? Eats it over, but doesn't do it hard enough. Has to battle through the hallway. Somehow still alive, but the plant's connected and Pac-Man's down. And now his battle goes down to the hallway, down to the rotates. And he's got to get this retake done. 1v3, make that 2v3. Ultimate Pac-Man's back to the party.
That's an extra gun, and Pac-Man's pretty stoked to be back in it. It's not a great place for that diffuser if you're a defending team. And King Grills falls to the hands of Nova with that M4. Pac-Man now has to decide, does he play for the stats? Does he play to go and win the round? He's got to find 3. Got to swing out, knows where at least one of them is. Yeah, Nova just has every idea. Swings out, pre-fire, and Prolific will get themselves round 5, and well, they bring it back within 1 again.
And it can just show how one link in the defense falls and suddenly things get much harder. Losing the smoke in the elbow is a big deal. I believe he was too blinded up to even get through to the rotate hole. He saw him crouch walking into the wall, but regardless, it would have been close with the frag grenade anyway. But losing that there just allowed Prolific to storm onto the site. No one at the bottom of the stairs once they took out Tiltek as well. So those 2 kills, picking up the round there for Prolific. They did have a quick little execute to make afterwards, but with the man advantage they gained, it looked pretty good. A retry is now in the order. Not too many changes coming in from the defending team, Big Dogz. So Prolific, just more of the same, should do the trick.
Yeah, look, there's nothing wrong with doubling down on a site, but you obviously have to have an idea of what went wrong with the setup, what changes you did need to make, and well, looks like we are going to see almost picture perfect retry of things. It's going to come down to positioning more likely than not in this setup. Not Prolific. I think they've read into that quite well. They have an idea. That's probably the play that's going to be made given the alternatives in the situation. It was that for the first 4. Dorms is still locked down for the moment. So look, hey, Prolific could take this half 3-3.
And that would be a big deal for them, especially if they, get it done here in a close kind of fashion as well. Prolific. This is the round they're really looking to win. What we were looking for through their interview, this is where it needs to show up. Remember the elbow, a big deal last time, so hopefully the job does get done this time. Pants, I remember last time he had the shield in pocket as well, so even if it does go down, if he finds a moment, he can even re-pop it up. I was going to actually bring it up last time, but then he died. And so always going to be an option for them this time. Just going to camp some drones on the entry though. They knew Prolific went through the bunker last time, so why not try and catch him there this time as well?
Well, we're doing something once. It's just a heads-up, big brain play. Doing it again. Look, you push in, you're like doing it a 3rd time in a row. That's borderline insanity. So to see them go for that same play several rounds in a row now would be a bit of a tall task. For the moment, King Grills again playing around that bottom white position with a 4-16, might be able to capitalise on someone. But Prolific, they've got some ground, they've got big tower, they can look to push on through and get control of pillars and generator. But there's 2 minutes left to play, so they are taking this ground quite early.
Yeah, getting control of the stairs is going to be a big deal. It's where they found a kill onto Tiltek last time, so definitely want to deal with that. This drone,
information,
just so hard to kill, right at the very edge of the stairs there. You can't quite get it, and so really big amount of information they can get there. Tiltek cops a little bit of damage, but nothing too lethal for now. A little risky throwing it out the window there, but still, all attackers keeping full health bars. Pac-Man now making his swings, but he really needs the backup to help him out through the stairs. That took a while to get the drone down. Heart pounding in your chest, I'm sure, but still not challenged from the stairs just yet.
They do get that Vulcan shield though, so that's one less obstacle in the way. Boff is playing aggressively onto the con double doors. So a lot of presence, a lot of priority in this position. Frag grenade tossed down main stairs is going to be Player Magnet for the most part. Looking to try and catch out this player. If they could get Pac-Man, they could definitely enable that push in towards the site. But it's about securing the frag, it's about opening something up, and Boff, if he can find that kill, which he has on the mixers, makes it infinitely harder. That's more utility now gone.
That's the difference that they're looking for Big Dogz, though. This is what wins them the round instead of losing it like last time. Now Pac-Man can really contest the bunker, can keep contesting the stairs if he needs to, and still has his backup. Frags are raining down on him, but surely by now Prolific are starting to run out of them. Pac-Man has been wasting so much time. His team looking down the stairs as well. There was a drop down, I believe, in the E-box too, but A little bit of damage comes out, but Nova will be the next to fall, and the stairs are not working out. But Flux and Levi eventually do find a way to make it work through the bunker, and now it's up to Boff to hold it down. Not quite a smoke player. We'll have to get it done with the Vector.
Not that there's really much utility that could threaten the salvo position I speak of, but there's a frag grenade there. It's going to be eaten by the Magnet, but it's enough for them to sneak on through. Flux will be able to get himself deeper in, looking to push on. Levi on fire for the moment. It's going to be Flux to go down, but Levi just too little, too late. King Grill's in the right place. Will secure the big dogs. That 4-2 half, like they got on Villa, but they still ended up going to OT in the end.
Oh, yeah, and man, that round certainly did come a little bit close there. I thought with that storm in through the bunker, the Prolific were able to do it, but yeah, position still really strongly held by the defense. It just sort of let them do it. The challenges on the stairs through the, I think it was through the mirror as well, or at least through the soft wall, easily let Pac-Man run down the clock so much. You know, I want to mention the other players backing him up as well. So, oh man, yeah, Big Dogs, pretty happy to take that round. It certainly could have gone like round 5 did, and we could be looking at a 3-for-3. But a 4-2 half on the defense, that's at least what you're looking for as Big Dogs.
It's not done though. They've still got the second half to play out, and it looks like we are going to see almost a repeat of the first half. Leading Kitchen, the opening the bomb site for the defense of Prolific. Interesting one. Looks like they're going for that back to front approach. Go to tertiary first, and well, then go wherever your heart takes you. At the moment, it is a pretty close run thing. For the most part, the defense, I don't think quite played out the way Big Dogs would have hoped it did, given that their last Oregon match was a 5-1 half.
Yeah, I mean, again, like some of those rounds.
Oh no, sorry, it was a 6-0 half, and then they rushed the bomb site in the basement and lost the round.
That's right. Yeah, that was that really should have been 7-0 that game. But hey, look, Big Dogs, that's why we love them when they make rounds happen like that. We might even see it in this game now that they're on the attack now. But yeah, the 6-0, I mean, yeah, they would have loved to get that on the defense for sure. Prolific did steal away quite a few rounds that perhaps should have gone to Big Dogs. But hey, look, Prolific, it's now their job. Can they get the same done on defense? Can they get it done better? They've gone, like you said, for the same order of sites, at least to kick things off.
Well, the repellers out towards Big Tower, but look at this. It's almost Pride-esque in the setup they have in the second floor hold, opening up the attic wall, opening up the angles to be able to contest, and Levi there looking to be a bit cheeky, but for the most part, Big Dogs, they're not going to give him that avenue. They're not going to let it happen. They're not going to give an opening should it be found. Well, Pants straight up to T3, straight upstairs. Looking to get control, enable the rest of the team to come in behind him. The guy is a real powerhouse when it comes to the sledge play. And then, of course, Tiltek, surprise, surprise, on the Ash, looking to head over to Armory, looking to get aggressive where he can.
Yeah, I mean, first step is going to be making your way through the attic hallway. Of course, you want control of that hatch. Just basically commands the default plant spots there that Levi's hanging around. Tiltek probably going to be the man for the job here, but has the breaching charge, doesn't quite see anyone in the next room, but has a little bit more room to play with, and now Big Dogs should have a lot better chances at taking out this big tower hall. Frag grenade just to make sure no one's on the other side. They also have to deal with this wall denial here too at some point.
Yeah, it was also to clear out the mute jammer that was in attic above, denying the Selmas from going off. So they clear that out, they get that open, they can play on towards stage, not to mention the presence that King Grills is having upstairs. Flux does fall over towards Storms, and that's one less off-site presence that will need to be a concern of the Big Dogs. Or even drone out to deal with the Saria Gate impact, to deal with the barbed wire. They are hunting these flank players. If they can take them off the board now, it's so much more security on the plant.
Yeah, Big Dogs are getting a big focus on the upstairs, but they eventually need to make the plant happen downstairs too. So Boff going to be the first one to step foot on site, but only just barely. He knows someone is right around the corner from him. Pants dies upstairs as Tracy managed to hunt him down. I believe that's in the attic as well. Levi, another one to fall. Oh my gosh, Boff just playing with fire here. The timing on it is so tight. Tiltek as well having his own battle just outside the meeting hall in the lobby, but the plant now going down. Surely Prolific to make a swing onto this, but Pac-Man cuts it off as Tracy gets ripped apart. The plant connects and Tiltek gets a kill as well. King Grills does fall in return, but it's all up to Mixers to make a retake happen 1v3.
Finds himself incredibly isolated, very far away from the diffuser is going to rotate in through Zulu in towards meeting. Might be able to find Tiltek from behind, but looks the wrong way. It's about the angle game. He's going to find the kill onto Bob, but Tiltek now knows. Oh my lord, goodbye Tiltek. Tech pause caused after this, but 17 seconds left. Player above the defuser needs to be dealt with. It's Pac-Man versus Mixes. He's tucked in the doorway. Can he find it? It's a cheeky angle that Pac-Man needs to find. Just going to pull up. He has to stick this out. No time, no chance. Big Dogz will take round 7. And look, Mixes, the best you can hope for is to bait it out for a frag. You can't even find that. Pac-Man down under. Cool, calm and collected under pressure gets them ever closer to moving on in this gauntlet.
Got a little worried though. I mean, I thought he was going to be able to stick it there with the kind of weird angle through the door, but yeah, the tack pause actually being called out there. Yeah, I wonder what was going on there. You know, Tiltek didn't quite make the call, you know, able to look around, get a retrade. So, you know, Mixes almost made it happen, but whew. Big Dogz, I mean, this is a solid lead on a map that they are on series point for.
I mean, look, the Big Dogz did win it last time 7-1. So at this stage, there's only one round difference from that their opponents have picked up. Arguably a little bit more convincing on the side of Prolific. They did take those rounds that they did win rather handily. But Prolific, yeah, I'm not surprised this tack pause is coming out. They need to break the momentum at the moment. Yeah, it's not been huge numbers of rounds strung together, but it's enough. There's sporadic rounds upset by Prolific, but that's not nearly enough on this map.
Yeah, and we kind of said the winning needed to start happening a few rounds ago, and so making the pause happen here means they can finally start catching up to that. They do certainly need to, because man, Big Dogz, they're starting to win these rounds in style. And you know, that's where probably Big Dogz find a lot of strength as well, is when they look good during a match, you know? They're having these moments where players are popping off, or people are making these crazy plays, or rounds are won by a hair's breadth. Big Dogz love those kind of situations. They feed off it.
Yeah, they feed off the chaos and the anarchy. They love it. They well and truly happy to pick up the heel role and play it very, very well. No talk in chat for the Big Dogz here tonight, which is a bit of a change of course from what we've seen out of them in previous matchups. But for the moment, they are very, very close. 2 rounds are all that separates them from a rematch against Fury in the next round of the gauntlet. But we're still here, Prolific. I mean, they still have the opportunity to bring it back. 3 rounds are all that's needed to equalize. We saw Big Dogz do it in map 1.
Yep, and of course they took out the tack pause as well, so you know, this is exactly what they need to be changing. Everything needs to flip around here. Otherwise, it just may be Big Dogz getting it. Once they hit that map point, if they get 1 more round, suddenly they look so much more dangerous. They have a lot of room to play with. They can do sort of whatever they want. What on God's green earth is this going on here, Fluxes?
Attackers are moving out.
It's looking like, again, sort of a Pride-esque extension in towards Big Tower. They've got the Saria Gate, so it's utility that will have to be wasted to try and get through. The breach scenario, though, is not there. No mute, no bandit, nothing of that sort. So they are just going to accept the fact that walls will be open and look to play off with the gunfights.
It's been working out not so well so far for Prolific, but maybe they can make it work here in this round. They've done a little bit of renovating here on a quite common site. First to enter, though, comes in King Grills, being droned out by Pac-Man, the captain. But Fluxus, this is going to be the first challenge here in T3. But Prolific, they come out in a storm, actually. They've got both Pants and Tiltek.
The only thing that hit Pants harder then was him hitting the ground after he died on the rappel. 2 minutes still left to play, and Prolific have taken a pretty significant advantage. Frag grenades off the board, breaching rounds off the board, not to mention Tiltek, who had a heater of a map. The big advantage that they do have to work with is no breach today. Not that it really matters now that King Grills is dead. Frag grenade being tossed in by Bob. But at this stage, it's a case of what can you find, if anything.
Yeah, Hail Mary should be expected to be thrown out here by Big Dogz because, let's get real, why not? Although, if Bob finds more frags like that, another frag through the window, it's not going to catch anyone, but a free kill, just on a slight angle on the rappel, is always going to be helpful here. Another one that Bob finds, and now suddenly we're in 2v3 territory, which sounds a lot more doable.
Especially given that Flux is low, they have the breach open in towards game as well. So Pac-Man can look to play those long angles, look to capitalize double window as well being open here by Buff. No more frag grenades, so they can't look to find any frags behind the bunk, but they do have drones. They can play for information. They can set them up so teammates can watch. And Box just going for the pre-fires, going for anything that he can find. These drones, though, they're going to be huge. If anything they can scout out can be communicated and translated into a frag, Big Dogz might just be able to steal that point.
Well, they know now that Trophy looks pretty empty, so they should be able to take over that. Boff from the window also has a big line of sight that he's got cut off. Many defenders, but Pac-Man just goes for the YOLO and sprints across some lines of sight. He even takes out a Banshee while he's there. A different position. Is it going to be the difference maker here in the final 30 seconds? Big Dogz have almost brought it back, but it's only Boff now, and he was the one bringing it back. Unfortunately, Nova shuts that dream down, and Prolific, they keep it alive a little bit longer.
Back within 2. So it is still entirely within reason that Prolific could bring this one back even further. But, I mean, the Big Dogz, they are a cohesive team, regardless of the side they play on. Their attacks, I think, on Oregon, if I remember correctly, were rather solid. Even though we only saw 2 of them. One was a rush down basement stairs, and the other was a very coordinated attack onto dorms that they just got the plant down, and Swingsman had no chance of responding whatsoever. But here we go down to basement. This is a bomb site they can look to capitalize on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to win any, this should be one of them that you're a little more comfortable on. The Mirror 6 pick over to Ella is going to be an interesting one as well. Maybe Prolific taking a bit of inspiration, but this is on a different site, of course, now that they're doing the 6 pick. But hey, maybe it's saying, look, oh, we're doing what you did last time, but they're not actually. They're actually going down to the basement. And so, yeah, Ella, as well as the attackers swapping and Iana in as well. Definitely an operator that people are really enjoying. Surprising to see it not actually picked or banned too much today. But here it is.
It's more of a case-by-case basis for most people. Having the Gon 6, having the frag grenades. She does find herself on par with the likes of the Ashe, but they're bringing Ashe anyway, plus the Sophia. So they got, I mean, look at their lineup. It's just utility clear and hard breach. That is exactly what they're bringing to the table. Levi, not overly surprised that we see him bring out the Ella. It's something that he has played a few times now. Loves the FO12, loves to play those close angles, and can really, really punish if he finds the opportunity. The rotate to there, the angles are set up, the prep is done. Are we going to see Big Dogz move on to map point? That's the question. And look at this, of course, Levi's going to be setting up a disgusting little freezer door angle.
Will he get caught out though, because Tiltek is moving up quite quickly. He should have heard the bullets, and the camera going out should have certainly tipped him off. But we're going to have the holograms to send on down. Gemini is able to basically act like a drone. Levi waiting like a hawk, waiting for his prey to walk up. A few early shots pre-fired through the barricade, but Tiltek gets first blood, and Mixers is the one to fall in that. And yeah,
Tiltek also escapes unscathed.
Unbelievable.
Despite a full magazine of FO12 going out. Gemini in. Tiltek is gonna capitalize. Of course he is. The man is just a demon when it comes to the fragging department. They've got control, they've got the ability to open up these hatches. They can now start to push on down towards Freezer. Tracy's gonna try his luck. He gets it this time. 3 times is the charm, apparently. And, well, utility starts to dump in. Tracy full white screen. Toxic canister was thrown out. Oh, pants. He's just going to be deterred. 2 canisters used to keep Tracy in this. But Prolific, I mean, look, it's not impossible still.
Tracy had to spend a lot to just stay alive during all of that, but at least he does get out alive. But we're going to be lacking the Toxic Babes a little bit later on. Gemini coming down to spot absolutely everything out until it's shot away. And so, Big Dogz have set themselves up pretty well. The lacking Tiltek's a bit annoying. However, they've got all the angles now covered. And King Grills is going to look for the battle. He's got a lot of angles to contest through the soft wall by Harry Potter. Will he be able to take it out? Pac-Man on the mean side, going through bunker. Going to have his own battles to worry about.
I don't think King Grills has any clue that Flux is there. Tracy does find the header Boff with that SMG-11. Pants is going to find the trade, though. So 1 for 1. Makes it just a little bit more tense. Tracy, if he can stay unscouted in this position, just look at him tucked in. Pac-Man gonna waltz in through the rotate from elbow. Knows that there is a player close by. Pings go out onto Nova. He's starting to open up these angles. Flux just gets absolutely swung on. 3v1 Nova has to go huge here to deny map and series point. The pings are coming out. They know exactly where he is. MP5 in hand. Doesn't have a nitro cell. Has to go for the spray and pray of his life. 27 seconds left on the clock, though, makes it even more determined. And well, Kingrels, the guy is just crisp, clean, doesn't need no caffeine, takes the head off, and yeah, look at that. He's like, yeah, 3, 2, 1, go, boom.
Beautiful. Love to see it. I also love to see earlier in the round Levi make an entry just like that, storming the freezer stairs and so surviving an absolute barrage of shotgun pellets from the Ella, from the freezer hallway stairs. And so now with Big Dogz sitting on match point, on series point, one more round. It takes them to a match against Fury tomorrow, further up the gauntlet ladder. Prolific, it's do or die time now. And what do? They bring out a Rook.
Not to mention the Doc and a Frost. It seems we're going a bit blue here in what could be the final round of this series. But the Big Dogz, they're looking to push themselves on just that little bit further here. I mean, it's the difference between, what, $500 and $1,000 going into the next round. The difference between 10 and 12 points looking to push on for that promotion tournament. And Prolific, they are looking to go for this hold in towards Office. It's a disgusting one. I've seen it a few times. If you can make it work, it is impossible to deal with.
Yeah, we've seen a few people just go complete camp out mode, straight in that tower there, you know, lock it all up with the Office. Frost mats, shields, ADS, the works, and you just hold it for as long as possible and get as many frags as you can while they try to flush you out of there. It's a ballsy move by Prolific to make here in a do or die round, but hey, I've seen them make it work before, or at least get a ton of value out of it. It's going to be Tracy hanging out in here, I believe, unless they're just using him for the shotgun and then he comes back down. But if they lose a smoke player nice and early, that is not a good thing. That is a very, very bad thing if you're Prolific.
Mixes is looking to abuse the 2-time scope on the MP5 for the Rook. Looking to play around towards bottom small Office, towards that entry window position, towards small tower. And last minute utility being set up. Prolific, they are playing this one very close to the chest for this what could be final round. Big Dogz, they're in big tower, they're looking to cover their angles, they're looking to get that vertical control as well. Kingrel's playing on the stairs, the pings are coming out, they see that the wall is clear, stage is very much an open, breaching round does go out. They can look to push on. Attic as well, going to be opened up here by Tilting in a moment. They're going to look to push in, clear out the players above, and that's when they can start to exert their pressure onto the site.
Yeah, there's not a huge presence by Prolific up there. There's maybe 1 or 2 players that are left here upstairs, and that would be the Doc and the Rook. And so long gun battles to be had here for Tiltek if he decides to challenge. Starting to swing around, knows there's a player there, trying to make sure he's not caught out by the other angles. Watching them both, watching on the right-hand side, catches Levi in the head with a quick little swing. Will he get the second one as well? I think he's just forced him to retreat instead. A nice free one there for Tiltek.
They're all hunkering down back towards the bomb site. Walls being opened up between meeting and kitchen. This could all be over in mere moments. Tiltek has the vertical control. The diffuser is in a great spot to push in from meeting as well. Toxicanus is going to slow things down, but it's all time they could use. Drain out that utility from the defenders. Get themselves in. Boff watching the long range angle from deep in meeting. Tiltek playing from above, denying any verticality contest coming out whatsoever. They are covering their bases right now. Even watching the flank down into the basement. Kingrels might even just storm onto the site. Spray through into security. Can't find much of anything. Just a little bit of a tag, but that is it for the moment. 46 seconds left. It is a powder keg.
Prolific have to make the use of every second here. They're a man down. They get one back onto Kingrels. That's what they're looking for. 35 seconds left. They can run the clock down. Mixes gets Pac-Man. And Boff, he's on the hunt. He's looking for more of these defenders. It's another trade back as Flux dies. In fact, it's just trades back and forth. They want to keep it as even as possible. Big Dogz, they just need to win this round to win the entire series. Big job for Boff and Hans, but I'm sure they can find a way to get it done. Whereas Tracy and Mixes, they're fighting for survival. 10 seconds left. Hans has to win this fight. He goes down. And Prolific, it looks like they're going to survive it. A triple for Mixes throughout the round. And Boff, he can't quite find the diffuser. He can't quite find the site. And Prolific hold on for another round.
Devastating. Absolutely devastating for the Big Dogz. And they're going to see that kill cam, or post-round cam rather, and see exactly where the one remaining player from Prolific was. And I mean, on top of that, Pants with a team kill, that's just going to push the mental even further into the void. But look, it's not over. There's still 2 rounds to play with before we head to OT. So Big Dogz still have a chance to close this one out. But Prolific, they've got to ride the momentum of that last round. If they can take another here, brings them within 1.
Prolific got to take everything they get. Even the rounds that they're winning are coming right down to the wire. So they're certainly nowhere near out of the woods yet, not to mention the map they'd have to play after this, not to mention the overtime they'd have to win to get there in the first place. So another one, another do or die for Prolific. Going in back to upstairs. They held it a little interesting last time, but hey, look, maybe they'll do it again. But looking at the operators, nothing too terribly crazy. Plenty of projectile denial. Not no mute, no bandit, no cade, or anything like that this time, though. So wall denial once more. It's kind of being thrown away by Prolific.
Look, yeah, it is an unfortunate situation for Prolific to find themselves in, but they can make it work. We've seen that fought from them before, and not by any means out of this just yet. They have an uphill battle to get themselves back equal, take us to the decider, but they're still in it. A lot of utility committed, a lot of setup invested into this. This is, again, a situation back against the wall, no chances for a mistake. Prolific in a do-or-die situation, the difference 1 round, honestly, between going home or going on to the next. They need to dig deep.
Each of these rounds worth at least $500 to Prolific, whether they win or lose. So Tiltech, with the help of a few drones, is able to get into the big tower here, looking to start challenging that down that attic hallway. King Grill's also quickly on into the armory and also at a strong position upstairs. They've now got some pretty decent sightlines now held down. They can even take trophy very quickly by King Grills. Sure, there's a Shuri gate in the way, but this is a Zofia. He'll be able to get through that one pretty easily. Just make sure to not lose his head in the meantime. Breaches now through the master bedroom. Big Dogz are making quick work already. We're only 1 minute in.
Yeah, they've got the attic open as well. It's a spawn site that plays very, very similarly to CCTV on Clubhouse. You need to attack it from multiple angles. You can't just force in the one direction. Well, King Grills gets given the information that there is a magnet in place. They're going to start to open things up now. Pit is no longer a safe place, but it doesn't matter. Mixers gets whomped out of existence by Pac-Man, who has the crossfire. That's 1 down. 4 more dominoes need to fall for Big Dogz to progress in this gauntlet. Flux on a bit of a flank. Oh, just a second too late. Rotates back, still alive somehow as Boff fells his teammate Levi Nova, at least able to equalize. Take down 1, not giving up that kill for free, but the man count is still good. The positioning is still very solid for Big Dogz.
Oh man, Flux might survive, but he just doesn't get the value he needed from that flank. It would have been game-changing. In fact, series surviving for Prolific if he could have found that. But onwards, Big Dogz will push. They've now made it through the attic. Tiltech making some, well, some progress through the magnets, I suppose, but eventually we'll get that one onto site. I believe it just hit the player prone to the back there, but it's Tracy to just send it on back through the holes, and Pac-Man looking through the breach, looking to keep that crossfire down like we had before. Shuri gates opened up and Big Dogz storming in, but it's to their demise as Pants gets mowed down as he gets inside. Pac-Man in an awkward little angle, but can start going for these peaks. Needs to get them back. Prolific, 30 seconds left on the clock, and just King Grills left. Looks like they might survive another round, Panda.
Prolific are holding on tooth and nail. 1 round separates them from another shot at OT, another shot at a decider here. And Big Dogz, that's a little concerning. I mean, not to call them out production, we're pretty sure that we were going to be going to interviews 2 rounds ago. But no chance at that. Prolific, they're not done in this race. They said in the interview, Tracy said, anyone can beat anyone in this gauntlet, and they are out to prove it.
Yep, and at the end of the day, Rainbow Six Siege is a round-by-round game. It doesn't matter if you lose 6 rounds. As long as you just stop losing them after that, you're all good in the hood. So Prolific, 1 round difference. Now things are not looking so impossible anymore. And they even get a shot at the basement as well, a comfortable site for many teams. Big Dogz have been pretty vicious on this one too, though, so they'll still have to be on top of their game if they want to survive the series. Big Dogz, sure, they had room to play around with before, but all of that is pretty much gone now, Panda.
One round. I mean, for the big dogs, you just got to forget everything else that's just happened in the last couple for Prolific. Largely the same. You got to play it like this is the only round you have available to you. Life or death, win or lose, there is no other option. And with 23 seconds left, the prep phase is going to be coming to a close here in regulation time. Flux Zeus has been going huge for the team, 12-0-7. Very much putting on the carry pants to keep his team relevant in this series. It looked like at the start of Oregon, maybe, just maybe, Big Dogs are going to sweep them out after that crushing defeat in round 15 of Villa. But no, Flux Zeus, the man is a phenomenal in-game leader. He picked the boys up, gave them the talk they needed, and they are one round away from getting a second shot at life here.
Man, here in what it could be the final round, you've got the big dog, boom, boom, man, Boff, coming in with the real big boom, boom. He's bringing Thermite instead of the Ace, so a little bit different here. Big Dog's maybe trying to change it up. It's a slight difference for sure, but he has to get up a little bit more close and personal with that wall he wants to breach, so I'm curious to see what this last-minute decision could be, but for now, I mean, so much of these basement attacks have been won and lost on these stairs.
Kingro's in, really providing that drone information. So Philtech looking to repeat his efforts on to freeze it that he found last time. It will be unfortunate. Just a little too late. If he'd opened up the barricade initially, Pac-Man would have been able to send the Gemini down. Not playing the Ace this time. I think this is one of the few times we have seen Pac-Man playing something other than the Ace on their attacking side. Pants in position, looking to open up these hatches, get security. We'll probably rotate in towards meeting to get the next one, but no. Aggressors, hits the Grismot mine, will pull back. Gemini Replicator, it's now your turn. Spots out the player, pushing up Tiltec. Can he find the frag? Can he find the opening? It is another Grismot. Pants is there. Just going to try and bait it out. Levi's got a tall task ahead of him.
Yeah, they got plenty of stun grenades, plenty of frag grenades too to try and flush them on out, but this is all starting to run down the clock. The shotgun to the face by Levi takes Tilted away from this round, takes another one away as Pants falls. King Grills as well in the background has gone down too. We're in a 4v2. Prolific looking to take us to overtime for the second time in the series. Boff here on the back stairs, inching his way down, needs to make these frags happen. Should be hearing the reinforce and may catch him on the rotate. That's a free kill for Boff. And now we're just one man down. Doable territory here for Big Dogs.
Completely unnecessary call there from Flux. Didn't need to go for the barricade. Just got to play it his time. They're now going to team up, look to get themselves in position for this explosive execute onto the site. Soft walls. They're going to look to try and open up these long angles. Potentially Gemini is there. It sounds like a Nitro Cell was thrown. I believe that was Nova's, which means there's a significant lack of utility now. Toxic Canis is going up. Boff is looking for anything, any number of angles that he can find. Long range over towards that A-bomb site, which is where we do see Mixes. Frag grenade deep over. Is he going to find anything? No. Not even enough to flush them out of position. Toxic Canister again, cutting off this elbow rotate for Pac-Man. He's just going to force straight on. Wins the gunfight. Tracy falls. This is entirely doable. Boff, he finds the head. It's Mixes to fall. And now Nova in a 1v2 has to clutch it up with 5 seconds left. There's one watching the rotate. It's a default plant. Can he swing around? Boff is going to be able to secure. The kill is there. He's prone, but Pac-Man shuts it down. The captain coming in clutch when the team needed him most. And the Big Dogs, they win out the series. They will progress for their rematch against Fury. And off the back of a massive effort. Ripshack, what a breeze. Okay, Tilt. Okay, cool. Whatever.
Whatever, man. I mean, look, I'd say that match was anything but a breeze. Yeah, the 2-0 happened. I don't think that tells the whole story. But Big Dogs, man, I mean, look, so many high-intensity scenarios. We've got to take a minute to catch our breath because, Panda, look, we've got a little bit of royalty on the line here because we've got fresh out of the win. Mr. Pac-Man, how you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Good. How are you?
Oh, dude, I mean, you guys put on such a show, so of course I'm doing good. Look, man,
yeah,
let's get right into it because I know you want to get back to the boys, but tell me, when was the moment when you guys knew you'd won the series?
I probably 5-2, or really when we won that round, that last clutch round on Villa, we knew we were probably good, to be honest.
Really? From Villa?
Yeah, weren't too stressed going into Oregon. It got a little bit dicey there at the end, but yeah, once we got that last round over the board, we felt confident for sure.
Pack, look, it's good to hear from you, man. Congrats again on the win.
Banda,
The boys
my
were huge.
mans.
I talked to you the other day. Yeah, we're just going to play our game fast and loose, and well, that's exactly what you did. Now, look, you're coming into this week. We hadn't seen any Villa from Prolific. Is that why you decided to take them to it?
It was mainly we kind of just looked at the maps that we didn't want to play personally. We don't like do any study really on like other teams or what they like, what they don't like. We just focus on us and what we're doing. It's probably not a great thing, but it's working so far. So we just looked at what we didn't want to play, and we banned what we could, and we just let the cookie let it fall as it did.
And speaking of what you wanted to play, right? You guys came into tonight without Shaq. Were you guys worried about having to bring in Tiltek? But I mean, to be honest, it looked like it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, Tilt's pretty nutty, and he's full of confidence, full of beans. So, like, obviously, like you guys know how cracked Shaq is. Like, Shaq is definitely an asset to the boys at any time. But you know, like we still have a lot of fragging power in like Grills and Tiltek tonight, and us Boomer boys as well. Pants and Buff played really well. So, it's obviously a loss, but at the end of the day, we kind of went into it with nothing to lose and see how it played out. Yeah, and we got the frags.
Well, look, you've got your win. You're going to be progressing through the bracket, heading up against Fury next tomorrow. Last time you guys played, you did get taken to OT by them on console. Are we going to see a similar matchup? Do you reckon they can take you close, or are we going to see the big dog storm on through?
Looking straight past Fury, if I'm honest.
Oh, straight pass? Right up to Skyfire?
Easy. Nah, it's going to be a good game, but yeah, we're confident for sure against Fury.
I love the confidence, man. That's real. I'm really keen for tomorrow now. So I guess one last question before we let you go. I mean, do you have any shout outs to anyone, any shout outs to the boys on the team or anyone behind the scenes at Big Dogz?
Just all the boys. Shout out to Specky for doing the behind the scenes work here and there. And look, to be honest, just all the boys and Tiltek for stepping up today. And Buff does a lot of the management side. We call him Coach Buff in the Discord. So there's a lot of.
I've heard you call him other things, mostly old.
Yeah, we call him whatever we want. Yeah, it depends on the day. No, shout out to the boys, man. Grills and Tiltek are like fresh braggers. Shaq, obviously, shout out to Shaq for the season and whatnot. And yeah, it sucks that he couldn't play in the finals, but yeah, just shout out for the boys for getting it good. And shout out to the other boys as well, the prolific guys, man, for sure.
Well, look, Pac-Man, you've got potentially a very big day ahead of you tomorrow, up to 2 matches, so I'm going to let you go and get ready with the boys. But again, congratulations on your victory today.
All right, boys, thank you very much. I love you, Blue Panda. Mwah.
Man, we should get him in here, you guys can hang out together.
Oh, I love the OCL lads. They put in a massive effort. They always give us a show, but look, that's Big Dog securing the win 2-0. So it's a rather short night. Gives them that time to sleep going into tomorrow for what could be a very, very long run. Any number of possibilities, but also, look, hey, they've secured themselves a minimum $1,000 going into the next stage. They've also got themselves a minimum of 12 points for the OCL promotions. Unfortunately, Prolific, they walk away with $500 and 10 points going into the next stage. That is their dash done, but hey, look, it gives them a bit of a break going into next stage.
Yeah, and look, I think they can feel all right about their performance tonight. They did give Big Dogz a fairly decent run for their money, even if it did end up being just a 2-0. However, Big Dogz, like I said, they've got a bit of a path ahead of them because looking forward to tomorrow, like we've been saying, they're playing Fury first thing in the morning there, and Big Dogz, that is going to be a tough one. The winner of that match will later on today be playing against Exto Gaming, who a lot of teams have been eyeing up as one of the teams to beat.
I mean, look, I have it on good authority. So we've had a couple of players step away. Angmo has stepped away from Fury. I've been told by President, the man himself in charge of the Fury R6 boys, they've got a fresh gunner coming in.
Ooh.
He's not played comp before. He's straight out of the rank stack, and he's ready to come in hot off the heels. Apparently, an absolute gunner. And then you've got Exto, who have just picked up elements from Pride to fill out their role, replacing Mitchie. Exto came into the end of the stage scary. Now they've got elements playing as a secondary entry. Those guys are just a real concern.
Man, Exo certainly ramped up as the season went on, and yeah, adding elements to that, Oh man, you do not want to miss out on tomorrow. No matter who is playing against Exto, it's going to be an exciting match. But we kick things off with Fury versus the Big Dogs tomorrow. Guys, that one's going to be at 1 p.m. New Zealand time, or if you're over in Sydney, at 1 p.m. Australia. Sorry, you know, here in New Zealand we get confused all the time. New Zealand time is 3 p.m. Australian time, Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be 1 p.m.
Eastern
tomorrow.
Standard Time is American.
Australian Eastern Standard Time. There we go. Look, we got it, okay? Look, Australia, 1 p.m., New Zealand, 3 p.m. If it's not that, you already know how to do your time zone. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for hopefully 2 very intense matches here as we continue the OCL Gauntlet.